Hey, stop thinking about getting up because getting up's not an option, Myrtle. Once this starts, you're here.
You're locked in, you fat sausage.
Are we rolling?
If there's one thing I know about this podcast, it's always rolling.
We haven't done this ever before.
It's so funny being in your own house at
I
9:30
know.
at night in your comfy clothes doing a podcast.
This is wildly invasive. I've never put my feet up on someone's. Is this okay? I feel
Yeah, it's
like-
great. That's
okay.
actually exactly
That's
how
how you
Myrtle
sit
sits
on
on it.
Katie, Dan, Myrtle. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Is Myrtle okay with what we're about to do here?
We're going to find out. We're hoping she kind of just is chill about this.
She's been around pot since she was a puppy.
Yeah, she does. When Dan goes away and she misses him a lot and somebody in the street smells like weed, she like reacts to them like, is that Dad? It's like, no, it's just another person who smokes weed.
That brings us to what we're doing here. We were supposed to do this a while back, and then Dan went on a journey of self-discovery.
I did what a lot of potheads refer to as a tolerance break, where you quit smoking pot. I, however, had never done one, so it was my first tolerance break ever, and lasted about 2.5 months.
Yeah.
And here we are.
So, quick recap of your tolerance break.
Yeah.
How was it? How many stars would you give it?
4 out of 5. There were some things that were lacking, but overall, needed to do it. Did it. Glad I did it. Might do it again. But glad to be back smoking weed.
I want to know about what it was like to end the break, because we're taping this at a time when you have reintegrated into polite weed society.
So the first hit I took was with Katie on a holiday weekend, and she was like, it's a long weekend. You've done very good the last 2.5 months.
Because you were supposed to break it the next week, but you were going to be on the road.
Yeah. And so you were like, why not just do it here? So I had a hit. We love watching Pierce Brosnan's James Bond movies because they're horrible. They did not age well.
How dare you speak upon GoldenEye in such a
I thought
fashion?
so too, and then I watched and I was like, my goodness.
Go watch Tomorrow Never Dies.
They're fun. They're certainly fun.
They're
when
fun.
He bites what's her face?
Xenia on a top? Or is that?
No,
No.
I'm thinking of Terry Hatcher.
Yeah.
Oh.
When he bites her lip.
While they're kissing.
Wild.
Such a passionate kiss.
Wild.
So I took a hit and we watched Tomorrow Never Dies, and it was beautiful. It was very fun. And then I went and got my hair cut.
Oh my God.
And,
Oh my God.
got out of getting a haircut and noticed that, this is usually when Big J and the Bonfire Boys are hanging outside Sirius. And I called him. He's like, yeah, come and hang out. And Jay has these joints that are little mini joints dipped in keef.
You ever seen these? They're
yeah.
like joints dipped in more joints. And you're
Yeah.
like, I don't think.
We heard you like joints, so we put some joints in your
Exactly.
joints.
And then we put more joint in the joint and then rolled it in joint. And Jay was like, hey, smoke this joint. I was like, I'm kind of
I'm back.
And I smoked a whole joint with them in front of Sirius. And then they were like, all right, we're going upstairs. And I was like, oh no. And I had a very scared subway ride back here. And I came in the house and immediately went, Katie, it happened so fast, but I'm real f***ed up.
He came in and he was like, I was smoking like I used to smoke. And then they left. And all of a sudden I'm on the train and I realized I'm alone and I'm very, very high.
Yeah.
You looked you came in like the world had just happened to you. It was very scared.
It was nuts.
When was the last
funny.
time you had felt like that
High
before
school.
then?
High school or college. I got high around 4:30 and I was high the rest of the day without smoking anymore. I was just like smacked.
And on some level, wasn't that glorious though?
It was, I
Yeah.
went through so many emotions. First off, I got my hair cut. Getting high and
Yeah, what's
looking
a
at,
stoned haircut?
you just go, no, put it all back. But then I got here and I was like, I'm going to take a shower because a high shower rules.
Yeah, oh, yes.
And we ran out of hot
Unless
water.
you need to shave your legs.
Yeah. And it
Just
was
facts.
a good shower until the water went cold and then it sucked.
Yeah.
But it was great. Overall experience, 7 out of 10.
Nice.
Don't know if I'd do it again because of the subway ride. I was so high I didn't know which arm to grab the bar with. I was like, does this look normal?
I just started palming the
Yeah.
ceiling.
Or
Yeah.
you don't know when to move when people get off the subway and how to get back into your position. It's a delicate dance that you forget. And then when you're high, you see all the steps.
So he's back.
I'm back.
which means that we can do the thing that I wanted to do when I learned you were on
Yay!
this journey of self-discovery.
Hence the bag of Cheetos and pizzas in the kitchen.
Yes, you
Mhm.
guys
Your
are
magical satchel next to the
I
chair.
promised this magical satchel next to your chair because we've traveled America literally on a quest of finding out which athletes have sponsored weed that should be evaluated and reported upon.
What, he has our favorite in his hand already.
Are you going to lay it out on the table?
I think we should.
Yes.
Okay.
Like when Cops sees
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. We'll take a bust photo.
Yeah.
That's right. So we begin
Yeah. The best one.
The
Gary-
glove.
the
best
glove,
one.
Gary Payton.
My
I mean,
favorite strain of weed.
Yeah.
Outside of Golden Goat is Gary
Right.
Payton.
So I guess what we'll do on this episode is we will sort of introduce these things one by one,
Sure.
and we'll sample them in ways that are definitely legal.
Right.
Well, we know Gary Payton.
Yeah.
So maybe
Last?
we could do that last as we know it is very good.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
and how many
like that
weeds
idea.
do you have?
How-
Like how
How
we're
many
gonna-
weeds?
We're gonna smoke 18 weeds.
Have you guys
is
ever
crazy.
had this? So this is a cannabis pre-roll on
Great.
the label. Magic Johnstone.
Magic Johnstone. Love the parody.
And so he has signed off on that?
Undoubtedly
or people
not.
have okay.
Un-
okay.
almost
I thought these were
certainly
like
not.
the athletes are cool with it. Because I assume Gary
it's got
Payton's
a
cool
couple
with
of
Gary
these.
Payton.
Yeah, I believe so. I don't know if Carmelo Anthony has co-signed this, which is
Mellow.
the
It better be an indica.
Mellow.
Is it an
It is
indica?
a hybrid.
Huh.
Here's the deal. For those of you that don't know about weed, sativa's a head high, indica's a body high. Indica tends to be more mellow, hence
Mm.
why you would call it mellow.
Mm.
Have you guys seen
Well, they all look little ice
Pac-Man
creams.
Jones weed?
Now, I
No.
know Pac-Man signs off on this because it's through cookies.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. And he has a whole like graphic on the top, an illustration where he's holding bags of weed.
Can
May
I
I?
tell you right now? That might be the one I'm most excited for.
So I think we should start with Pac-Man.
This is great.
Oh, this is what we have. I thought you had like so much more.
Oh, we have a list of things that we tried to get,
Oh, okay.
but we had to.
This
we had to
makes me
limit,
feel so much better. This
we had
whole
to
time I thought
limit
we were
the
doing like
list.
17 of these.
Yeah.
Oh, I
was
wish.
very
I was going to
worried.
prepare the bed for Katie just to land in at the end
Yeah,
of the
this isn't
podcast.
going to go well for me. I don't smoke that much weed throughout the night.
So,
I like to smoke weed at night, but I usually do like a hit or two, and then I'm good for an hour or two. And then maybe I'll take another hit if we're doing
No.
a Rocket League tournament. Yeah, it smells good.
It smells good, guys.
He's convinced me that if it smells good to you, it won't give you a bad high. If you don't like the smell of it, it will give you a bad high. But if you like the smell of it, you'll be fine.
That's old stoner myth. But I've gone by that since I was a wee boy. until
That's
I
why we
lost my
got rid of
smell.
that. One of them was named after a perfume once, and you were like, "Get that out of the house. I do not like it."
Yeah.
This is one of those rules, like how Dan thinks that vase and vase are two different things.
No,
Yeah.
this isn't.
These are
'Cause
the things
vase and
that
vase
under
is-
our roof, Pablo, you just have to accept are the way that things are.
Number one, vase and vase was just information given to me. Sir, I have spent my Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hours smoking marijuana.
Debunked theory as a
I
related
have
story.
put in the reps for marijuana. The vase vase thing, that's just some bull pulled out the back of my head. This is pretty shaky science, but it's science.
We still go by it.
Myrtle, what do you think? She loves Pac-Man.
She's just to be clear, the dog's not doing any drugs.
No.
Don't call PETA.
Definitely not.
She's just here. She's
But-
on her own drugs, actually.
But if you see some of the dogs that she hangs out with at the dog park, say she kind of had a joint in her corner of her ear the whole time. They think she's cool. She wants to do it for the dogs at the park.
That's right.
Um,
All right, so we're
starting-
starting with Pac-Man.
We're starting with Pac-Man, but I do want to give a special shout out to some strains that I wanted to
Let's hear them.
get for you, but could
Honorable
not.
mention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Michael Phelps OG.
I like that because that guy's lung capacity is incredible, and he also pushes therapy, which
I was
means
gonna say he's depressed, so
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Mentally, he's been
yeah.
places that I'm like, where's your weed? Like,
I would like to see Michael Phelps hit a gravity bong.
Yeah, I bet he could clear it.
Peyton Manning.
What the No.
So, according to this summary, it popped up around 2013 when he was with the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
It was reportedly a cross between ChemDog 91 and San Fernando Valley OG.
Okay.
But it's just super rare.
Mean anything to you?
Super rare.
It's super rare to get that.
Apparently.
Do you wonder if Peyton's got it like at home? He's like, do you want some of my hard to find Peyton Manning weed?
I bet Peyton Manning litigated the intellectual property behind
Oh
Peyton
yeah,
Manning OG.
absolutely. I bet it helped his neck too. He'd be like, I could throw a
Who
football.
else?
So Ricky Williams has something called the Heisman.
That's the weed.
I mean, we should be doing that. Why aren't we
That's
smoking
the
that?
weed you want. You want the guy that his career took a hit because he was taking hits, but you want the Ricky Williams is that is our ideal.
And the Heisman's a great name.
It's
Yeah.
a great name.
Yeah. What happened? Why couldn't you get that?
Journalistic integrity. So Ricky Williams is a friend of Meadowlark Media.
Yeah.
And so we said we cannot, much like a
Got it.
chef who's friends with Pete Wells at the New York Times, you gotta draw boundaries. Like it would be unfair for me to appraise his product.
Yeah,
I-
I'm not his friend, so you could have brought that
Katie
weed
and I
for
have
us.
never met him, and
Right.
I want to try Ricky Williams.
Yeah, I don't see why that's happening. That feels kind of like a selfish decision. It's okay, but we let you into our home. So.
That's the difference between
Feels like you could have left us with a little bit of Heisman.
Yeah,
as like
you
a
could have been
parting
like,
gift.
"Hey, I'm getting out of here," and gone like this. Take
Yeah.
that.
Oh, that
And
would have
then
been
handed it
great.
to us
That
when
would have
we
been
were-
great. Next time we should script your entrance and your exit.
yeah.
From the apartment.
This is called journalism.
Yeah.
Well, I hate it.
So the one that I have been hunting for that I could not find, but I did do reporting around, is Linsanity OG.
I mean, that is.
So Linsanity OG, which popped up in 2012
Yeah.
in California during Linsanity. I first saw it because Rick Ross had posted a photo of it on Instagram. And I've been tracking it ever since. I know this for a fact. Jeremy Lin, I reached out to him. He had litigated this. He had wanted this to not be called Linsanity OG
Oh.
for copyright reasons. And so I ended up emailing a rapper, Stally, former college basketball player himself. He was tagged in the Rick Ross Instagram. And so I asked him for a review of it. He said, it's an OG, so it's strong, but it tastes clean and sweet, gives you a heavier high, so I'll have you stuck for a minute, but once it sits with you for a while, it brings out the creative juices that allow you to work diligently.
Whoa.
Good write up.
Really good
I
write-up.
know. And he did not make a joke about how it only lasts for like 2 weeks and then it gets real bad.
Nice.
Which I appreciated.
Nice.
So I think we should
Let's start with Pac-Man.
start with Pac-Man. So what are the rules here?
Okay, well, so we smoke usually. We lean out the window of our office.
Right.
New York City apartment, the window only opens so much.
Enough to get your head out of the window to
and you
blow
blow
it
the
out.
smoke out because we don't want to get kicked out of our apartment. We like it here.
But we're going to load a bowl of Pac-Man. Each of us take 2 hits.
Yeah.
See how we're feeling.
We have the capability. I suggested that we play Rocket League because that's when I know if my
Oh.
high is hitting, and we have the ability to do that here. So it's an option.
We do. That will be a 6-hour podcast.
We're doing a weed quadrathlon.
Do we want to vote on order right now? I feel
Snake
like
draft?
I figure we go Pac-Man, Magic Johnstone, Mellow, close with the glove.
Yeah.
Because we know how good Gary Payton is.
We know it's gonna fit.
Lockdown.
Still
Let's go
host.
smoke this Pac-Man Jones.
Okay. Myrtle's like, and I'm going to take a nap.
Yeah.
A nap, man, Jones.
I really enjoyed that.
I can tell.
Yeah.
That's not what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Here's the Myrtle Pipe. Myrtle Pipe rules.
The pipe
I'm going to
is
zoom in on it. Can you guys zoom in? I don't know,
Cut
man,
it.
there's so many cameras in this tiny apartment right now. Very overwhelming.
You guys can see. You guys can get the shot. Loved it. Tastes really good.
Yeah, I like it
Yeah.
a lot. I like it quite. I'm really sorry for my behavior in this podcast. The eating on mic, I would
I
hate it
love it.
too. I'm really sorry.
that was the right move.
You
though,
have to
right?
understand,
Wasn't that
I'm
the
in my
right move for me?
apartment. and I'm really high. And that was what I was supposed to do.
And also,
That was the assignment. I understood it.
it's for health reasons, for brain health reasons. You're eating.
Yeah, you don't want to meet the Katie that is hasn't had any food and gets
Violent.
high on nice weed.
Just violent.
Ugh, no.
I know. It's funny.
Usually I curl up into a tiny ball.
Violent.
And they're like, so Katie's in bed.
Yeah, what are the stages that you're afraid of?
We come back from the third one and we go, okay, so we're on Cry Patrol.
Where's Cry Patrol on the terror alert scale of Katie Nolan?
I don't really
Stone?
cry.
No, she
I
gets-
don't cry unless I'm having a bad one. And that's happened maybe 3 times to us.
Yeah, we've been together for 5 years and I've only seen her have a bad one once.
I'm trying not to chew in the mic. No,
Very
you've seen me
respectful.
twice. Definitely at least twice.
But where do
Passed
you?
out once. Remember
That was in Nashville. That was nuts. Where do you go bad wise?
Yeah, so
Let's do this. Let's get high and talk about when it goes bad. Always the best way to make sure it
So,
goes good.
here's a question that I think Pac-Man Jones will inspire.
Yeah.
When does like the Notes app come out?
Oh, that's
when do
if
you
Dan's
start-
in the other room playing a video game that I've already annoyed him a couple too many times. I've already come in and gone, hey, so I was thinking about, and he's like trying to, I don't know, whatever it is you do, college football, put pants on wrestlers.
Maybe pants on wrestlers. Maybe I'm trying to
the
get
amount of times I've watched him be like putting highlighters in a wrestling
Once.
wrestler's
That's
Wait.
Once.
Wrestler's
What?
hair.
What?
You can customize your wrestler, and he loves Kenny Omega.
No,
And so there was a game
That's-
that did should
you're
not be. Am I
talking
embarrassing
about
you?
One time, yeah, because you talk
One
about it like I'm
time
in there
that I came
obsessively
out-
doing this.
One time that I came out and he was putting highlights.
I was giving him some
in
blonde,
Kenny
giving him
Omega's
some
hair.
blonde frosty
I'm
tips.
just saying
And it
what
was Seth
happened.
Rollins in the Shield.
No, it was absolutely Kenny Omega. I
You were
watched you
jealous.
stress
You were
over
jealous.
this Kenny Omega. Yeah, because that guy's gonna
Yeah.
take you from me.
He is the
Anyway,
best bout machine.
if I've gone into annoy Dan, if I feel I've gone into annoy Dan too much, then I'm like, no, and this thought, I shouldn't let it go. That's when the Notes app comes out. Because
yeah.
that's when I'm like, maybe later when I don't have anything to say to Dan, I'll tell him this. Like I ever open my Notes app later looking to tell you stuff. But there's a lot in there. What happens when you die to your Notes app? Is like legally,
Is
does
a
it go to
thing-
Dan?
It's a thing you type into your Notes app. What happens to your
don't
Notes app
think-
when you die?
I think legally they can't go through your Notes app.
But
They
I'm
can't
saying,
get-
can you?
I think so.
You're going to want to.
Okay. Is there like
There's good stuff. I think there is
What?
good stuff in there. I also think there's garbage in there. But
Oh
there's
yeah,
like
some of
there's
the best stuff that I've ever done is in my Notes app.
you're just going to see a lot of premises that are like, I'm glad this never saw the light of day.
I doubt it. I bet if you went back and looked at your Notes app, you'd be like, there's a premise that I should absolutely be.
I do it all the time. There's never is. It's
No?
always just like, what is this? What is this?
Yeah. I do it every now and then. And when I do, I get a couple good ones. And then the rest, I'm like,
Yeah.
you thought you needed to write that down.
Yeah, because your high brain is like, let's put this
I'm
somewhere.
not always high, though.
But it's the breaker of writer's block for me,
Okay.
which is
Every weed?
it's like a shower or walk around the block, or it's like looking at something from a different angle.
Yeah.
And
It does do that.
And that same
It do
guy
be
is,
like that.
is also potentially like a really bad generator of ideas that only the other guy can really
It's
validate.
like it fires the bouncer, I feel like, so that like more gets out. And a lot of times you were stopping yourself from letting out the thing that was the idea you needed to get to, but you were also stopping a bunch of bad ideas. And those are also coming through.
I always want to correct my behavior. After I get high, I was like, I was a dick earlier when I just drank coffee and was fired up saying ideas.
It does
I
make me evaluate my
I want
day.
to like go
Yeah.
back and edit my old self and be like, hey, you need to calm down. But then sometimes I smoke weed and I go, everyone's mad at me. I should probably get out of here. Everyone's mad.
Which is crazy because I bet if you polled every single person who's ever met or even just perceived Dan, if they're mad at him, I'd be shocked if 1% was.
That's very good weed.
This weed rules.
It's really
This
good, man.
It's,
weed
I would tell you,
rules.
really good.
I
Leave
love-
this weed.
I love
Katie just
I
tried to
love-
rob
the
me
weed.
with a finger
Drop the
gun.
weed, Pablo. This stays here.
I love the Gary Payton, so I'm not surprised that I like Pac-Man because it's done by Cookies. They seem to have their together.
Cookies as a brand, and again, this is why the journalistic integrity is so important,
Yes, let's
Katie.
hear
You're
it.
like,
I'm
why
sorry. Why are you yelling
won't
at me?
you
I
review?
went to J school.
I can't give an honest appraisal of a company if I.
Fair enough.
This
Fair enough.
though, no relationship to Cookies,
Right.
but this
I've never met
illustration.
him. Have you met him?
Pac-Man?
Yeah.
No. All I know of him actually is like TMZ stories about him like fighting people.
In the airport?
at
That
the
was
airport
awesome.
with like plastic bags.
I know Pac-Man Jones is the man because that weed is. It's like
It's really good weed.
it's almost like how George Foreman. A lot of people just know him for being the grill, and they're just like, "Yeah, it's a
Right.
great grill."
Yeah,
And
which
you're
it was a
right.
great grill. The fat dripping off. I can't believe nobody thought of that
It
until
timed
I-
out perfectly. Me going to college.
Yeah,
that I was
that
like-
is a perfect college.
George
your
Foreman
dorm
walked
room?
into a boardroom like Don Draper and showed him a protractor.
Yeah.
Was he heavily involved in the actual ideation, or did he come on afterwards?
Now I
I'd
know
like
a
to
Hulk
know.
Hogan story that Hulk Hogan said they had a choice. You do the
Hulk
Trump
Hogan.
kiss.
Did you see him blow him a
my
kiss?
God.
Ooh,
So that objectively,
weird,
right? Like
weird behavior.
that is a unique behavior.
like,
I
that's-
think you should catch on. I'm blowing
here's the
kisses
thing,
to
Pablo.
everybody.
I always think that objectively, and then no one ever hears it objectively. So it doesn't.
Is it European?
What you're saying
Is that the defense of it? Is
is
there?
Trump European?
No, is that a practice? Because it seemed.
No,
it
I think it's just a
seemed
cool new thing to do. Just throw a kiss at someone.
Aggressively.
from the audience after they praised you.
He goes, "Hey, your car's ready." You go. But the rumor was that they like had a choice of the Foreman grill or spaghetti maker. I think that was like a Hulk Hogan story, which most of the time is found out to be not true. I don't know if Foreman was like bio picture thing where he was like, "Hey, this iron just pressed this chicken, all the fat out of it," and like, "George, that's it."
Right, the equivalent of
That's
the apple
grill.
falling on someone's head is George Foreman accidentally inventing a sloped grill.
I didn't get his eureka moment. I didn't get to see the George Foreman movie that recently came out.
Oh, I didn't know there was.
I didn't know there was one either.
George should change his name from Foreman to Poor Man.
What's my name now, fool? Foreman is the new heavyweight champion of the world.
I want to redo the Foreman movie and make it like boxing is the B story.
Exactly.
I would love
George
that.
Foreman, the grill maker.
Yeah.
No,
Instead
he's-
of the knockout heavyweight.
Yeah.
My roommate in my first apartment after leaving home in Chinatown. It was a mouse-infested apartment in one of the oldest townhouses, like a row house in like Chinatown on Bowery and Pell. And my roommate Juan, who I love, had a George Foreman grill that he would use virtually every night. And the mice could not have loved it more.
Why?
Because the smell of some sloped
sizzle.
grease sizzling perpetually
Well,
in an old ass building.
Did they have like a chorus? Was there like a bunch of mice lined
Do
up?
they come out in a conga line
Yeah.
from
They
their
were
little
doing
holes?
they were doing newsies, like barrel rolls.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Oh, wow.
That's so fun over each other just for the grill. Yeah, man. I had a college roommate leave salmon on the George Foreman grill uncooked. He was going to grill it, and then he like had to go do something, and he was just forgetful. To my
Was this
roommate.
your roommate that sold drugs?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he'd
It
be
makes
like-
more sense that way.
He'd be like,
first I was
"Yo,
picturing
how
just
did he
a
get the
regular
grill?"
guy. I'm like,
He'd
why
be
did he
like-
start without stop?
But we just had a Foreman grill, and I remember I came home after class or something, or like maybe even the comedy club, and I was like in the kitchen, and I was like, "Is there something in the George Foreman grill?" And I lifted it, and it was just this like, when salmon goes bad, it gets that like weird green color,
Oh, my God.
like coming from the outside in, and I was like, so I put it in like a Dwayne Reed bag, like a plastic shopping bag,
Yeah.
and I went and I put it in his room.
Oh, my
I
God.
hid it in his room for like 5 days. So
And
if
that
you're
man
seeing this,
died.
Amir, my argument for the second strain is this. We go smoke a little bit of Magic Johnstone. I'm going to grab a slice of pizza.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
two
I
should
haven't.
play Rocket League.
The argument for getting to the second strain is that I am now deeply self-conscious about whether I am
I'm so sorry.
hosting
You did
this in
great.
any way. Did you
This is how you
just
jump.
make the driving noise as if I've never seen anything
I won't
driven.
help you. This is reverse, but you're
No,
not
no,
going to
no,
need that.
reverse me. Yep.
They're about to start playing.
You're looking at the wrong.
Oh my god.
But no, he can't be me.
And Stinger scored a
you?
goal.
Controllers, yeah,
They're
we're
down
all
1-0.
Pablo can't listen and play video games.
This
Hit
is
X. Hit
not
X.
You're going to be all right.
Oh, there I am,
Pablo,
there I am,
we're going to
mate.
get you through it. Also,
This
think
is
about
me.
the Magic Johnstone you smoked.
Yeah,
Go get it.
yeah,
There you
yeah,
go.
yeah.
I don't think I took enough of this weed. I don't think I smoked enough of it.
We each took one big hit.
I'm going to go
did.
back for another hit.
I took enough of it.
Yeah, you did.
Pac-Man, we smoked. Pac-Man, we like had a full
Yeah.
bowl.
besides
No,
the whole
because we
time.
switch controllers
Yep.
exactly for that
Get
reason.
that, Pablo?
Oh,
you
now
got
I
it.
realize.
You
Now,
were
circle
on the right
is-
Yeah,
side.
so
Circle
but now
is
I'm
turbo.
not. Oh, on the
No,
left
now
side.
you're on the
Yeah,
left.
yeah.
Now you're Queen Teensy. You're me now.
Yeah. Oh.
That was good. Did you do that?
I did do that.
Oh my God, Pablo.
I think I know Kung Fu.
This might start a lifelong obsession with Rocket League.
I mean,
This-
Pablo, is this not the
This
greatest?
is pretty good. Once I realized I was on the left, everything made more
Which,
sense.
again,
suddenly.
you weren't originally. You
Yeah.
So when
were
I-
right at first.
when I first started dating Katie, she didn't smoke pot, and she was like, "I don't really smoke pot unless I play play Rocket League."
Yeah, I guess. What that meant, can I tell you now that we've known each other forever, what that meant?
Yeah,
I don't have a person to buy weed from.
got it.
So I only smoke if you're bringing
Got
weed.
it. Makes sense.
You know?
Well,
And he brought weed.
he brought weed.
So I love this game.
Yeah,
It
this
rules.
game is.
Now that I have a sense of like
What's
the
gonna hurt is
physics
when
of
you
this.
get better at this than me.
I know.
And
I
I've
was
been
thinking
playing
the
for
same
years.
thing. I was like, what if he
Pablo's
learns
like,
to fly? Because
Pablo's
he's
like,
smart?
yeah, I'm diamond, and you're like, I can't even get past.
Pablo, also, if you're ready for more buttons, square can make you like, it's like a break so you can take a sharper turn.
Yep.
So
I
if
wouldn't
this
worry
is a
about it.
positive
Good.
review of Magic Johnstone,
Yeah, so far. I mean,
well, I'm
What
interested
do-
to get to this Carmelo Anthony weed
yeah.
called
Just gonna
Mellow.
Fly off this wall real quick.
Oh, Pablo, that's twice.
That was so fun.
That was
though.
twice you
There's
got
1 minute
specifically
remaining.
into my way.
That was so fun.
There's 1 minute remaining in the game. They're
Are
up
you
4-2.
enjoying it though?
I am.
No, we're up.
It says it's greenhouse cannabis flower, an indica hybrid. So it is mellow.
Mm.
They are going for the mellow. There's 40 seconds left in the game. It looks like Katie and Pablo are going to take this home. Pablo's first inaugural game of Rocket League. Katie Nolan, of course, coming with 4 goals, a hat trick. She's hat trick Zeta Jones. 10 seconds to go until we
We used
move
to
on
play
to
full
mellow.
seasons against the bots.
You did something incredible.
Thanks.
Look at that.
Can we narrow? Can you? Okay, so
She
what-
hits it off the side of the goal, bounces in front. She gets around, turns herself around, knocks the bot into the ball, who
That
then
was-
scores the goal.
that was you bad ninja. You bad ninja'd them.
Yeah, you use their momentum against them. Good job.
Whoa.
Mind control. Can I tell you what I like about Mello, just from the looks?
Sure.
It's just little nuggets. They're just like fun little,
Wow,
hey, he was a nugget.
Wow.
And then he broke
Mellow
my
is
heart.
just little nuggets.
Which
Then
yeah.
he broke my heart.
Yeah, you got beef.
Then he
You got
forced-
real beef with Mellow.
It just hurt. If you're a Nuggets fan, that hurt. We were waiting for a superstar. We got Carmelo. He went to the 2009 Western Conference Finals, lost because of 2 key steals from Trevor Ariza, and then you just dismantle the team. You make everyone go everywhere else. I mean, granted, we got
you
some.
got Wilson Chandler.
Yeah, we did. I liked Wilson Chandler. He was nasty on NBA 2K. I loved Wilson Chandler, but that completely destroyed the franchise for a couple of years. We were on the cusp. Now, granted, it did lead to us getting Nikola Jokic and then eventually winning
Yeah.
a championship, but I will smoke this weed, still a little angry at a trade that was forced.
Yeah.
When I feel, as a Nuggets fan, it wasn't needed. You didn't need the trade.
Timofey Mozgov.
We got Fulton. We got we got that whole Knicks team.
Yes, you got a team that in New York we actually
Oh, yeah.
we're kind of sad about
always
losing
forget
as
where
much as people
Pablo's from.
loved.
Can I tell you the thing that upset me the most? I was waiting tables at the time, and they would play this package when Carmelo got traded, and it was I'm coming home.
I'm coming home. Tell the world I'm coming.
That whole dramatic thing, and it felt like it was just rubbing my face in it, where I was like, every time it'd come on, I'd be like, oh, he's from Baltimore.
Yeah, the
like it was the
Baltimore
thing you just,
thing.
but he was born in Brooklyn. But you're like, man, it hurt. That trade as a Nuggets fan hurt. That might be the most painful trade of my life.
Wow.
Yeah, and thanks for letting me smoke weed on it. Took a couple hits. It's an indica hybrid. It was a good bowl. Tasted good. I would say I enjoyed the taste of Pac-Man, but Pac-Man went first. Well, hold on, pause. Taste of the first weed, the marijuana. I'm sorry, Mario.
Oh boy, not the Legos. Should you want me to move them? I can move them.
No, we're good.
Your Lego television Mario set.
I built this and it works. Can everybody see it?
that's
Dan,
a
can
lot.
you roll the...
Yeah, this is a wild thing to.
Look at that. I made that.
Come on, get
Come
behind
on.
that.
Give it up for me. Good. He almost... Oh, I was just joking. That was so cool. But it broke just then. That was really... Guys, did you really do that?
They did.
Thank you so... Okay, everything's going to It's all falling apart. I broke it.
We'll be all right. We'll get
Well,
back
where
to
does
it.
that go?
I don't know. We'll get back to it.
I thought everybody would like that little.
That's a good working review of.
No, I should have built it better than that. I took it. You guys do a podcast. Let me sit for a minute.
What did you think of the mellow?
It's hard to know what I think. I'm susceptible to suggestion right now.
Okay.
Dan is leading with authority,
Yeah.
and I have enjoyed all of the strains we've had so far. The mellow is definitely the most indica-y,
Yeah.
and Katie just burped,
No, I didn't.
undoubtedly still on microphone.
I was over here.
So here's how I would compare and contrast what this is. So this feels like we're not playing Rocket League. This feels
'Cause
like
we're not.
we are. It is nice. It's nice.
Cheetos showed up on the table. That's a wild.
Cheetos
Did
are here.
that. One of you is a
That's a wild move.
cheeky. One of you's real. I'm gonna get to him. Yeah. That's it.
Sorry, editor.
For all of it, actually. While we have you.
Yeah.
For all of it.
This has been very fun. I'm pretty.
Yeah, same. Here's my thing, because I don't think I've given a single review yet. I'm high, so they're all good. I'm not like noticing once are you guys doing that for the magic of podcasting? Should I be
I
like,
think
the
there's-
mellow is more of like a, I think I'm just later in my
No,
high
I like
from
this
the
though
first
as your
one.
fake ASMR though. Keep going off on this.
I believe that mellow is. It's probably what should have been the last, insofar as it's going to put you
To sleep. You look sleepy. You
Yeah,
noticeably look a little. Do you want to put your head on a pillow?
Dude, please just pan out with just one light on and it's just Pablo on the couch.
We've got that couch pulls out if you need it.
This is such a comfortable couch.
After Dan plays college football, I saw you noticeably go, well, Pablo can't stay here.
Well,
I'm gonna kinda
Colorado
need that
State's
room."
taking on a 5-2 Wyoming. So why don't we just see? Why don't we see where that goes? Anybody playing college football, that video game knows. Yeah, are you playing it?
You're
Yeah.
counting
so
down
you're just
till you
waiting
go-
for the
yeah.
podcast to end. You're like, yeah, some of us got dynasties at home. That's like the new children. Hey, some of us got to get home to ours.
I gotta get Kennesaw State into a bowl game tonight.
Dude, I love it.
That's wild.
I
Good
love it.
luck.
This game was the phenomena that
it is.
that
It is a genuine phenomenon.
It's worth it. All the weight of having to wait for college football to come out. I thank you. What a payoff. It's been awesome.
Okay, your game froze like 4 times yesterday, and you were
But
very mad
think
at it.
about
So
how
maybe we
many
don't act like
tables-
it's the greatest thing that's ever happened.
But think about how many tables I didn't break.
And you didn't. And they both are still here, and they're being used in this. It was the number one reason I was worried I was going to lose one, because I'm like, we're doing a podcast here. But it's been frustrating. The game is a little glitchy, and it'd be
I
nice
had a game with Texas that was going to overtime, and then it just shut down. The entire game shut down. And my childlike reaction of sadness made me think I was going to lose my fiance, because I went, no. Like an unfair childlike thing. Like, hey, no. We were about to go to overtime. But we were. My freshman quarterback was cooking. Do you understand that? Not just dinking and dunking. I'm talking about 41-yard shots, dude.
Are
Okay?
you like doing back shoulder passes?
I learned how to throw now. I was doing classic throw. Now I have it where you can put touch passes. Yeah, there's some throw.
You're feathering that.
I got a
in there.
tight end that is just,
Top
he's
notch.
eating this season.
Oh.
He's a senior. He's just eating.
So now what he'll do is he'll come out and go, in case something goes wrong.
Because it's canceled so
My
many
running
times.
back has 200 yards in the first half
It was insane.
It was nuts. But it'll give me a stat line and be like, just in case something goes wrong, you should know this kid really
In
had
case
a
Eleven
great
something
carries,
goes wrong.
255.
In case the game freezes again, and he
First
files
half.
it with me like it's history. He's
I
like,
just was
in case
kicking-
anything happens in there, 4 carries.
I was kicking the out of Oregon State, in Corvallis. And I come out going, hey, if this game gets shut down, I'm putting one on them right now. And my running back has 13 carries for 226 and 3 touchdowns in the first half. And I'm going to run him a lot in the second half. And thank God, what happened is it was shutting down so much, I deleted the game and re-downloaded it.
And that worked.
And so far, so good. CSU is already a 3-star program. We're number 2 in the country.
2 in the country.
I mean, really, this podcast ends and a dynasty begins. I'm going to move on. It's playoff. I want to get to the playoffs. It'll mean a lot to the city of Fort Collins and our Board of Regents. Now, do we smoke some Gary Payton and do the SNL goodbye? We stand there with Myrtle.
Dun, dun,
Myrtle
dun,
comes
dun,
out, and we're
dun.
just like, I want to
Thank
thank so many
you,
people. I want to
Gary
thank
Payton.
Cookies. I want to thank Pac-Man
Yeah.
Jones and Gary Payton. I want to thank Magic Johnson, who probably doesn't even know this product exists.
And now that he does, it's probably not going to exist anymore.
Sorry. And
Lauren.
Laura, yeah.
And Lauren, of
Thanks,
course.
Lauren.
Gary Payton rules, if you can't tell.
It's a classic.
It's so good.
I've sought it out because
Yeah.
it was something of a legendary thing. And plus, like now, there's a Larry Bird strain, but it's like 33. There are like lots of references now.
Okay, so it's 33% THC.
Guy feels high.
The marketing should require
that.
the accurate,
His face tells me you
percentage.
came up with a good idea.
Yeah.
But that
Hey.
was not the idea.
Yeah, the Gary Payton's like kind of like just when you come back to it, you're like, damn, you are
It
very.
I don't know if it's just in my head, it tasted good. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, the mellow I felt probably the most like in my body. I don't know, I'm talking like an idiot.
No.
no,
I'm
you're not. I'm
yes,
with you, I'm
most
with you.
most palpably different was Mello sitting in the couch.
Yeah. I just know stuff. I would explain it in stoner terms. Like with the Pac-Man, I really wanted pizza. But with the Magic Johnstone, I really wanted to talk.
Mm-hmm.
But with the Mellow, I thought of the future and all the college football I'm going to play. And then with the Gary Payton, I wanted pizza again. So what does that say? Where are we going from here to there?
They were all good.
Yeah.
I don't have a negative thing to say. I don't think I smoked enough of Magic's because I was like, hey, Katie, this is going to be a lot of weed in a short amount of time. Maybe on the second one, when they take 2, you take 1, just 1 this time. So I don't know if nothing happened,
Yeah.
but I never felt bad. And so nobody gets a ding in their record. And as much as me, lady who doesn't know anything about weed and doesn't smoke all the cool weeds, these ones are all okay.
Thank you for bringing all this great
How
weed
much
to
of
our
it
house.
stays, would you say? Because you don't want to get caught carrying this much. You could get in some real trouble.
Also, people got cell phones on them and they could call the cops.
But it's very funny that you showed up with a bunch of weed and we smoked it. This is how it should be. You're the best dealer I've ever had, I think is what I'm saying.
Are you
Typical dealer comes over, smokes some of it, eats some of your food, plays your video
Won't
games.
leave.
This is a story.
Records everything you
as-
do and publishes out
guys-
as a podcast.
Guy's probably wearing a wire.
I sense microphones in the room.
I don't know, man. Call it the weed, but I'm paranoid. We're being
I
recorded.
feel like I'm being watched.
Are you guys stealing my weed?
Yeah.
You're not leaving with one
Some
of them.
of it
One of them
is staying back.
And if you want to fight that, I wouldn't recommend it,
Yeah.
but you could.
Myrtle can get vicious.
If I say sick 'em, she'll come lick you and see if you want to take her, if you have any treats.
Yeah, it's true.
I love when dog owners have like a like foreign word that summons their dog.
Oh, yeah. Oh, like, yeah, like something in German.
Ungare.
Yeah. And
That's
it's just
fun.
there, like a police dog.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it has to be something that no one else would
Right.
say.
It's got to be like her Manchurian candidate word. It,
Yeah,
like,
her
activates
activation.
her.
Yeah.
Right.
Ours is the T word.
No, that's just a word that she physically, her ears will go from like, I'm a cute dog to like, I'm the cutest dog you've ever seen in your whole life.
It's the T
She get
word.
little pigtails and she's like, oh my God, you should give me a treat. And it works sometimes on mostly him.
Yep.
Because she gets so cute. But I'm like, damn, you really know that word. I didn't train you that word, but we said it and you knew what came right after it. So you'll simp for it. And she does. She does. This weed is good.
If we're picking, are you telling us to pick one?
I'm telling you.
It's hard not to. I'm loyal. I'm a loyal bitch. So
Deal.
I would pick Gary Payton, who reliably always gets me fed up, including the time that he handed me a pint glass of Jack Daniels with a straw and ice in it.
That's the real Gary Payton. It's
Real
pretty
Gary
cool.
Payton. I
pretty fucking
asked,
cool.
was asking people what they wanted to drink, and his eyes got to me, and I was like, I don't think I was supposed to be in this group, but I said, me? And he said, yeah. And I said, I'll take like a, I don't know, Jack Daniels. I panicked, thinking he'd get me like a Jack and Coke or like a Jack Daniels. And he turned around with a pint glass with ice, and it was like, I don't know, it was dark where we were. So I thought like maybe this is just a tall Jack and Coke. I took a sip, and I was like, that is Jack Daniels. It was just a pint glass,
I love
ice, Jack Daniels.
Gary Payton thought you had a problem.
I was like,
Gary Payton was like, sure, tiny lady. Someone get eyes on her. She might be a little bit of an issue later. Just drinking a pint glass of Jack Daniels. Thanks, Gary Payton. They call you the glove. They call you the glove. They call me the boot. He's kicking him in the Dude, I love Gary Payton being like, Katie Nolan drinks, dude. And Gary Payton, you make fantastic, lovable weed. Yeah, I would say Pac-Man is a close second, but
that was a good
The
start.
element of
That was a good
surprise.
start.
I didn't expect Pac-Man to be
Yeah.
Gary Payton
on par.
It's just, man, I'm gonna destroy whatever's left in that kitchen, Cheetos pizza wise.
We haven't made one of those yet. You're gonna make a Cheetos pizza?
No, I understand where the confusion is. What I meant is whatever stands in front of me, I destroy.
Okay.
Basically, a food terminator.
So it was Cheetos / pizza wise?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably gonna go Cheetos, pizza, Cheetos, land the plane, regroup,
Van Leeuwen?
Swiss cake roll.
Oh, that's right. Oh, we
Mm.
should make you eat that. Like a bite of it.
Yeah, you
Dan's
gotta
like, no,
No,
we should
I'm
save
down.
it. It's so good, and you're high.
give
So I
Pa-
think
you gotta
you'd
give
really
Pablo
like
a
it.
piece of that.
Please don't.
No, of that Swiss roll. Why does everything gotta be sexual with you
That was
guys?
just, please let,
Also with
you
this
gotta give
background,
Pablo a piece of that is wild.
piece of the Swiss roll. Man, this sucks now. This absolutely sucks now.
Disagree.
No, of that Swiss roll. God damn it, I'm about to fight this whole room. I got a John Wick. I've never thought I'd have to John Wick my way out of my apartment. And the dog's still alive. So that is a win-win. This is a Swiss cake roll from a restaurant called Cafeteria. And
Oh yeah. Cafeteria.
this
It's also
red velvet Swiss cake roll.
Just feed it to Nick. Here you go. Thank you so much. Yeah, you just eat it. Yeah. It's good stuff.
so. Wait.
Yeah, there wasn't anything specific. Oh, you're supposed to decode it. Then eat
Oh,
it.
you didn't unroll
Uh-oh.
it and lick
Well,
the insides
now
out?
that's poison. Good
Oh,
job, Pablo.
Yikes. It's like cutting
You're
a
gonna
blowfish
die.
the wrong way.
Yeah.
Oh, you just cut through the skin? Well, we're all dead. So.
Can I tell you what, though? This is a great front row seat of watching someone eat that Swiss cake roll high. And you know what? It wasn't just Pablo. It was Magic Johnson. It was Gary Payton, Pac-Man Jones, Carmelo Anthony. It was all of you guys. You were all there.
That's really good.
Isn't that nice? Life is good. You know? That's one of the things that when we partake in it, we both look at each other and go, look at where we live. Look at our life. We are eating, it was delivered to us, a Swiss cake roll.
I suspected that.
It's the greatest.
We
greatest
could just,
moment of my life.
we could get whatever we want right now, and we don't want a lot.
It's like a speech at the end of a movie. And what I want is sitting right here next to me. Thanks for getting us high, dude.
Yeah, dude.
What I found out today is that athlete weed is not good because of the strain or because of the illustration of a Pac-Man Jones holding plastic bags full of weed.
Mm.
It's because of whatever dessert that was that I just ate. This has been Pablo Torre Finds Out, a Meadowlark Media production. And I'll talk to you next time. So I want to pivot to my topic.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, with the format. I
Yeah.
could honestly just shed the format entirely, but I did some journalism for you guys.
Okay, let's hear it.
I investigated a tennis story, not about like Novak Djokovic or Carlos Alcaraz or any of these players. I investigated a specific court at the U.S. Open, and I brought you a little field piece.
Okay.
I
I'm
like
trying,
Let's
guys.
go.
I'm really
Wait,
trying.
like a video? Like
Can we play the
Oh,
video?
let's go. Roll
Go
the
to the
tape.
video.
Let's
Roll
check
the
the
tape.
Let's check the tape.
Bit of a stinky situation at the U.S. Open. It is not because of the action on the courts, though.
Some of the top tennis players in the world are complaining about the smell of cannabis.
Yeah, court 17 definitely smelled like Snoop Dogg's living room.
I smelled it actually today also. Yeah, when we 17, yeah, when we warmed up, I smelled it also.
Court 17 is a modern court built in, I believe, 2011. That's right there. Right there.
It's everywhere. Literally everywhere. The whole court smells like weed. Was there a smell out there that was bothering you?
That's court 17.
Is that the first time you ever noticed that smell before? Nick Kyrgios complained last year about how much it was bothering him, the weed.
Marijuana.
And so I did what any self-respecting New Yorker who also hosts a show called Pablo Torre Finds Out would do. I went to go smell court 17 for myself.
Not working today?
Nah, well, technically, this is work.
Yeah, true.
I don't know that, man. Have you guys been smelling it? Yeah. But what became clear is that nobody was actually smoking anything inside Court 17, which brought me back to exactly where I started. This is the park. That's Court 17.
It's so
Did you
funny.
find the guy responsible?
I did. And he was looking back at me in the mirror.
Yeah. Is it just people out in the park just smoking weed?
Yes. So they reviewed, I spoke to the man in charge of Court 17 who refuses to give his name.
Wow.
For a long time. And he was like, we checked security footage. We have people posted up. It's not allowed in this court.
Huh.
But that park is just full of people smoking weed. And it's like a beautiful, summer evening. The wind blows it in. And he's like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah, who cares?
Tennis players are so particular
I know.
about everything. Like, even from the way, you watch them like bounce the balls or the way they hold stuff. And they're like, it's funny that they seem like dorks being like, guys, stop smoking weed. It's like you're outside in New York City, dude.
I've seen a lot of people since it became legal, like on the New York City subreddit, will be like, okay, I get that it's legal now, but do I have to smell it everywhere I go? And I'm like, it's just a smell. No offense. We should be sensitive because
we should also come. Let me come out and say I
Okay.
can't smell.
Oh my God, that's
Speak
right.
your truth.
I can't smell. I don't have a sense of smell.
It smells nothing. It's okay.
What is this?
Thank you for
I'm
being
with
so
you.
strong
I'm
right
with
now. I started smoking cigarettes when I was young, and I exclusively exhaled through my nose, and it ruined my sense of smell.
No sense of smell. So
None.
any milk in our apartment, he's like,
I
you
have
got to
to-
smell this. Is this good?
Every time.
So Katie needs to protect you.
Yeah.
I can die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When,
But smoking weed, I also smoke a lot of weed, and I've never known when I've smelled like weed.
right.
That's
So
what's
I'll walk
crazy.
it.
Is like he'll be on the road, and if there's like been a time I feel like I came to your hotel
Yeah.
after you were already there, and I walked
Portland.
in, and I'm like, dude, it smells like weed in here.
I was like, I smoked in the
really
shower.
bad.
It's fine.
Like, no, it's not. So then I got you that spray that
Yeah, the Ozium.
What's
Yeah.
the wait? There's a spray.
Ozium.
yeah,
is the spray
Ozium.
that like will. I was like, just spray this, and then you don't have to worry. It'll definitely take care of the weed smell, even if it doesn't smell. Just spray it because you
Googling
don't
this.
know.
Ozium's great, dude.
Yeah.
Ozium, a lot
We
of
get
potheads know.
sponsored
There's
by
also
Ozium.
for
I was going with like paper towel roll full of
Bounty sheets.
yeah
Dude,
fabric
Bounty,
softener.
I knew about
okay.
Bounty sheets when I was 15, when I'd get high in high school and come back to school and just just wipe a bounty sheet on you. You smelled like laundry, but my eyes, I was like, allergies and fresh laundry, man.
It just makes me think of when I used to smoke cigarettes and then I would think I didn't smell like them anymore. And then once you quit and you're like, you smelled like them all the time.
Yeah.
God,
that was my main thought as I was talking to the guy in charge of Court 17.
Yeah.
Was just like, oh, he knows what's happening
it's
here.
me.
This guy is way too into this topic.
Yeah. Well, because it's probably that thing where, like, when you work someplace, it's always brought up, and you're like, I know.
So it was hilarious because he was in charge of Court 17, and like his account was the one everyone was talking about. And he was like, come on.
I
now,
know.
Now
Yeah.
the boss is going to come by.
Because they're like, you're letting people smoke weed. If you are listening to this and you run a marijuana company and you don't come up with a strain called Court 17,
Oh my God.
you're an asshole.
You're leaving money on the table.
100%.
Call it the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
Call it the Djokovic. You got all these different strains, and then Court 17 as just a loud pack, dude.
The loudest.
The loudest pack better be Court 17. When you smoke that, you're like, I can only have a little bit of that.
I want highly paid European tourists to complain about this.
Yeah, what they're like, what is this? What is this smell? And you're like, that's that Court 17.
I want to
Ooh.
know, how do all these tennis players know what weed smells like?
Can they not smoke weed?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
But it also, to your point, it felt so. Tennis is so OCD.
Yeah.
And in general, like the tennis Grand Slam events are like Wimbledon.
Yeah.
The French Open, they have like kings and queens.
Yeah.
They have like manicured grass that's been watered for thousands of years. And then they show up in Queens.
Yeah.
And right next door is a park full of people from Queens who are just like blowing clouds.
Oh, yes. You too. It really is coming to America. We're like, dude, I love it. I absolutely love the thought of some dude in Tim's and like really baggy pants being like, nah, son, just blowing weed smoke at the tennis thing. And then some guy from Australia is like, I couldn't even warm up because the weed smoke was so bad. And it's like, nah, dude, welcome to Queens.
And my favorite part of the story is that like, in the end, the U.S. Open officials did not send the cops out to like stop these people.
Yeah.
Because I was worried. I was worried on behalf of them, on behalf of myself. Like it's technically not allowed weed in a park.
Oh, yeah,
But
that's like smoking.
Because the rule in New York, I don't know if anybody abides by this, but it's like wherever you can smoke a cigarette, you can smoke weed now.
Right.
Yeah.
And so technically not allowed, but also the guy was like, it's in New York. Like there's food, there are people getting off of work, like tournament workers on
There's
break.
also a lot of other smells that can hit you.
Yeah,
that I'm
I'd
sure-
rather it be weed than
wet garbage.
Yeah.
I also like the idea that for some athletes, like weed is actually a PED. Like everyone in this video is complaining about how it disrupts them. I'm sure there are some people out there whose performance actually benefits.
I bet in the NBA, now that it is legal, next season, you will see, and I'm making this prediction right here on this show, you will see multiple players, points per game, go up, and you're not going to know why. And people are going to be like, this guy was only averaging 12 points per game. Now it's at 26. And you're like, because he's smoking weed. He's in his zone.
His flow state.
Do you think there's a possibility though that you also see guys get really scared?
Look, I would love to see a
Guys
guy
who like
lock
try
up.
to get high just to get in the zone, but then you hit it wrong and you're like, oh no,
We're looking at Draymond Green not coming off the bench. He says he feels like his feet are made of water. Kerr's like, you got to get in. He's like, I can't. That would be hilarious. Watching a freak out, watching the first weed freak out timeout.
It's like
pretty funny.
Like, why is Klay Thompson just furiously typing into his notes app right now?
Oh God, that's not me. Oh, that's me every time. If
Why
someone-
Splash Brothers? Why does it have to be Splash Brothers? We're not even brothers.
Is gratitude really the greatest gift?
Yeah. My knee aches. Why does my knee ache out of nowhere? He starts freaking out like having a panic attack. Why did I hurt my knee again?
So, Matt, I've been wanting to do this for a long ass time. I've been planting the seed, as it were, that I want to do an episode with you specifically about the question of whether marijuana can be a performance-enhancing drug. Okay, you're a guy, I mean, I assume you smoked today.
Yeah, today. Yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty high as we speak right now.
Very good.
Yes.
I am jealous.
And for people who don't know, and I hope they do know already, your reputation, but how would you describe the sort of player you were in the league?
Probably like 3-and-D before there was coined 3-and-D. Just a hard-nosed defender that had, did a little bit of everything on the dirty work side and defensive side, and then, knocked down shots when I got the opportunity.
Yeah. There's another simpler word that I feel like gets thrown around your scouting report, which is you were an asshole.
Hated to play against me, loved to play with me, is what I've heard from teammates and executives and coaches.
Okay, so if you want to understand the culture of a sport, if you want to find out, for example, why upwards of 80% of the greatest basketball league in the world may smoke weed, you can't really go to the superstar athletes. This is a theory I have. They are simply too famous. They have too much job security. What you really need to do is go to California and sit down with Matt Barnes. Because the most distinguishing thing about Matt Barnes, to me, is his candidness about what it's like to play for 9 different teams over a 14-year NBA career, and also about what it's like to have been, according to my own research here, arguably the biggest stoner in professional basketball. And all of this was back when smoking weed really meant something, by the way. Matt Barnes is from Sacramento County, and he was doing all of this when it was very illegal. Back before legal dispensaries, back before all of these stores that have opened up. This was still years and years away from the NBA deciding, finally, to stop testing for weed altogether. You were doing this, by the way, like during, and I think this is a key distinction here when you talk about policy changes, you were doing all of this during David Stern's NBA.
Yeah, it was a different watch back then. Definitely a different watch.
So let's just start from the start. So for you, I want people to really understand where you're coming from, just like even before the NBA.
Yeah.
Chronologically speaking, when does the relationship between marijuana and basketball begin for you?
Man, my dad dabbled in the streets a little bit. So, I saw drugs at an early age. I was born in 1980. So in the 80s, a lot of people did a lot of different drugs then. But I always remember my dad, at the end of the day, would smoke a joint. And he also smoked cigarettes, and I hated the smell of cigarettes. But I remember when he smoked it, I didn't know what it was at the time, but he would smoke this joint and it would smell different. And he would relax and he'd have a Budweiser and he'd watch something on TV. And that was kind of like the mellow time we would have. And it just always stuck with me. So at 14, I stole some weed from him and tried it. And the first time got a huge headache. Huge headache. But I wasn't a quitter. I jumped back on the horse and kind of found early on, this is 14, 15 years old. It relaxed me. It focused me.
How would you describe that? So when you say it relaxed you, what did you need relaxation from?
It would just allow me to kind of relax and focus and take things step by step and, not overreact and it helped me sleep. So it did a lot of things early on that I couldn't put my finger on, but I knew it just made me feel different and made me feel better. Now there's medical research to back up what I know it's been doing for me since I was a teenager nearly 30 years ago.
When you mentioned that your dad, he was in the business of drugs before this was a business that was allowed.
Right.
So when you think back, just how do you describe it for someone who isn't familiar with what that must have been like?
It was different because it wasn't just weed. It was coke. It was a lot of different. It was the 80s. You know what I mean? So it was interesting because me and my brother and sister all steered away from that. I felt, but there were some kids. At 5 years old, I'm playing with the neighbor kids because our parents are getting high, and my little friends knock a plate of cocaine over and start eating it, and next thing you know, they're foaming out the mouth. So I'm running to my house to tell our parents that I don't know but I'm 5 years old, 6 years old. So I just saw a lot at an early age, and I kind of feel like either if you see it, you're going to steer towards it or you're going to steer away from it. And I steered away from it. So my goal was to never kind of be back in that kind of situation or environment, and I knew there was more out there. So that was kind of always my go throughout my childhood and high school days, college days, and through the pros.
So the biggest difference between Matt Barnes, even at an early age, stoned and sober, is what? How different are those people, would you say?
They're not very different. I think at an early age, I think obviously you have to handle what you can handle. You know what I mean? I went to school with a bunch of, excuse me, but I went to school with a bunch of white kids. So they're taking 6-foot gravity bong rips.
We don't use those slurs here, white
right?
kids.
So there's 6-foot bong rips, and then there was gravity bongs where we used to take an Alhambra bottle and to cut the bottom of the Alhambra bottle out, make a bowl at the top, submerge it, make a bowl, and then So that's the first time, funny enough, we're talking about a gravity bong. The first time I got high before a game. This is, I think it was in my senior year of high school. We're playing in this tournament, and I won MVP 2 years. I think it's my junior year. I won MVP my freshman, my sophomore year. Dominating first game, big game. Cut school on the Friday of the second game and get super high. And it was like Teen Wolf. Where you're turning and everything's coming a little bit behind you and turning, and it's just like, I was too high. I played horrible. My friends were up in the stands laughing at me. I want to say I was averaging like 35, 40 points in this tournament. I had like 4 to 6 points in this tournament. Remember, I airballed 2 layups. It was bad. So I say all that to say, like, I had to figure out what worked for me.
Right.
You know, how much, because, you know, maybe it's more for me and less for someone else, or less for me and more for someone else. So I kind of just found what my why was. First of all, why was I doing it? And then what was my tolerance level to be able to still perform and do it at the same time, because I have to be responsible with it.
Right. So the first time, though, you
too far.
When you went Teen Wolf,
deep waters.
Was there a thought as to, like, I'm gonna see what this is like, I'm gonna try this out?
I just didn't think I was gonna get that high and it was gonna stay that long. Like, it
was an accident.
It happened at 1:30 and the game was at 7. And I was still just loaded the whole day. The whole day I was just loaded, and it just, I could cold water, pool, nothing could shake it off me, and it was a lot.
When do you realize the Goldilocks of this, right? Okay, too hot, too cold, but just right.
Yeah.
How do you figure out, when do you figure out what just right feels like?
I remember the football season early on, I hurt my foot and kind of kept playing, and it was...
Because you were also like a star receiver.
Yeah, I was a better football player than basketball. So just, you know, before a game, kind of finding out, okay, you know, half a blunt, what would that do to me? Okay, I could do that. And then, you know, it eventually got to... Throughout my career, that I would smoke, you know, whether it was the blunt stage or the joint stage, a joint or a blunt before the game.
And when did you decide it's a blunt or a joint?
Wiz Khalifa actually changed me from blunts, because I was a Swisher Sweet guy for like 20 plus years, and those things are just, whew, those are heavy on your lungs, but you don't know how heavy they are until you try something else. So again, I'm someone who, during my time, I prided myself on being really well in shape and never getting tired and always running. So I didn't realize how heavy blunts were on my chest until I switched over to joints. Compliments on my guy Wiz. He just, try this, tasted better, cleaner. It just didn't feel as heavy on my lungs. So I probably crossed over in 2015 and haven't been back since.
Okay, so I want to go back to college, though, right? So high school, I can imagine you get away with some stuff because it's high school, and I guess there's not a testing program that's official in high school. But UCLA, I mean, you go to UCLA.
Yeah, it's a little different.
How would you figure out, this is what I need to do to not get in trouble?
Niacin, I think it was. They said, because you'd hear urban legends of guys on campus, what do you do to get it out of your system? So I stayed on campus for 4 years and had 3 tests, and somehow got by all of them. I just didn't go to one.
That's a pretty good way to not
didn't go to one.
Fail it. To not go.
One was niacin, and then one I drank so much water I felt like I was going to be like pass out. And one was diluted and it was fine. One I didn't take, and then the niacin flushed me one time. At first, you know, I didn't know who at UCLA smoked, so I used to just be by myself, and there's like a wooded area with steps down to the fraternities. So I used to go back there and smoke by myself because I didn't know who else smoked.
It's relatable in the sense that, like, you got to go to this like wooded area by yourself because the stakes are
high.
Right.
No pun intended.
Yo, but for real though, I want people to understand, because this is around what time? What year?
1998, 99, 2000.
Right. So this
Way
was
early,
like
way early.
headlines in newspaper stories.
Absolutely.
If you get
like
popped
real
for
trouble.
this.
Like, probably get kicked out of college possibly.
How obvious was it though that you were smoking and playing and evading the tests at the time you were doing it?
I mean, I was just good. I mean, I've always been really self-conscious of, okay, if I'm going to do this, I can't, because I'm public. I'm a functioning smoker, I guess you would call it. Like before I'd go on ESPN, before I play, like I'm always smoking, but I always have my little kit where I have my toothbrush, my mouthwash, some cologne, a change of clothes, some lotion. So, because I can't walk around smelling like it all the time. I just understand this
is veteran
professional.
savvy.
Yeah, right.
Now.
Come on, man.
Yes. No, I think functional is a key. It's a key adjective to all of this.
It's got to be, man. It's got to be some balance.
Right. So, okay, but the idea that, okay, I have a kit, I have a process.
Yeah.
When did that specific ritual really set in where you're like, I know how to do this?
College, it was, because obviously I knew I had to hide. But, once I didn't really, not that I didn't care, I don't want to say that. Just once I was kind of more recognizable and in situations and around people that would, because I've been around athletes, unfortunately, that smell like a whole pound. And I'm just thinking like, it's cool. I know you smoke, but it's kind of irresponsible from a standpoint of we're not there yet. You know what I mean? We're not there yet. So you're kind of giving up the secrets for everybody almost.
Right. No, but this part is really important. The nuance of what you're describing, which is, if we're going to do this at this time, like the early 2000s, we need to be careful and responsible because we're all at risk here. Are you doing the thing where it's like a paper towel roll equivalent and like some fabric softener in it, or like?
So, I mean, it just depends. I mean, I was always a big candle dude. So I mean, I always had candles. I'd always block the doorways as much as I can. Sometimes I used to run the hot water early on, but then it would get too hot in there.
I don't know.
It would just cause more steam, and you would think. So who knows? Like scientifically,
another smoke.
It's maybe an urban legend that it actually worked, but again, I just tried to control it with, and then anyone who came to my room,
just made sure they were.
I would tip them
allies.
well, and just make sure just be very respectable when you're doing it, I guess.
And so the consideration for other people, you don't want to get in their way, you don't want to make their lives harder,
right?
And in the process, what you're also doing is like living in the future,
right?
So the idea that you get to the NBA and there's now going to be this testing program, and the reputation of the program again, this is David Stern's NBA, so this program's reputation, did it even begin to scare you out of trying this?
I came in the league early 2000s, and it was everyone got drug tested during training camp one time. So it'd be a fact where everyone knows, okay, training camp starts Monday, Thursday, the dude's coming, and everyone's getting tested. So we would have our blunts or our joints rolled up in the car as soon as we get out of practice, like cheersing each other in the parking lot still. You mean because we knew it was coming? But I kind of
but that scene though, the idea that like it's kind of like, it's almost like that's graduation.
Yeah, like
day
whose house
almost.
are we going to after practice?
Right.
We're going to go smoke a couple and,
So it starts off with, that's going to be one test in training camp preseason.
To 4 randoms.
So I want to just generally situate, again, like the kids out there, right? For like what's happening in the league at this point. Because this is now David Stern. This is like the dress code had been implemented.
Yeah.
And so the question of like, why, Matt?
Yeah.
Why does it go from one predictable preseason test to 4 randoms?
There was issues with performance-enhancing drugs in other sports, whether it be football, baseball. I don't remember the exact years, but it was in the same
late 99.
time. Early 2000s, mid-2000s, So they know there wasn't really a steroid issue in the league, but a league that's predominantly black, what is the stereotype drug that most black from back in the day, from rappers to street dudes use? Weed.
Right.
That there wasn't a steroid problem. We weren't getting to like football and baseball tested for steroids. What can we test them for? Weed.
Right. Parallel to the dress code in its own way.
Kind of,
how do we clean up the image?
Under looking at our demographic, predominantly, 70%, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere in that
a
black.
super majority, yep.
And it was funny to say all that, Pablo, because I remember I did fail a few times. You get 3 strikes. I was on like 2.75. A couple fails. You get a couple of, if you know it's coming and you're not prepared, you can turn yourself in. So I turned myself in. Luckily, they let me turn myself in twice. That's why I say you're only supposed to be able to turn. One, you get out of jail free card. Like, hey, you're coming to test me today. I don't have my drink. Cliff, Dirk, I'm coming home, baby. I'm coming back to the drug program. You know what I mean? So I'm coming back to the drug program.
So Cliff and Dirk, in case you were wondering just then, Cliff and Dirk are the names of the people who run the NBA's drug program, which I needed to clarify with Matt by text afterwards. And Cliff and Dirk and the NBA first started testing for weed back in 1999 during training camp specifically. And as Matt alluded to, as a result, everybody knew when the test was coming. This may explain why only 12 active players out of 430 that first year tested positive. A super low number that the league publicly celebrated as proof that this whole slate of off-court marijuana possession incidents in the 90s were absolutely not reflective of the reality of the NBA. But in the 2000s, the NBA instituted what Matt has referred to as those 4 random drug tests, which meant that if you ever got a third positive test, that third strike, you got suspended for 5 games. And then the league would start adding 5 more games to each ensuing violation after that. And so Matt Barnes failed 1 test in 2007 with the Warriors and a second test in 2014 with the Clippers. And so instead of testing positive a third time, he just chose to re-enroll with Cliff and Dirk preemptively.
But I found out, towards the end of my career when I'm in there, from the superstars to rookies are in that program. And I remember at one point they told me more than half the league was in the program for cannabis. Half the league, 250 plus guys are in the. I don't know who. I know some of the people because we were teammates at times or whatever. But a lot of people for that. Period.
Right. Which is, I think, a staggering thing to realize on a couple of levels. So it's staggering on the level of okay, so what you're saying is that more than half the league has been involved in the program, meaning they have gotten popped or been summoned to the league office
somehow, some way,
on a watch list of some kind. But what that also says is that beyond, it's catching people, it's the prevalence of this. Was that surprising to you when you heard that it was more than half the league?
Yes, because it was just that many people in the in a league of 400, a little bit over 400 people.
Well, it's like a silent majority,
right?
Literally. So the NBA has its own version of a war on drugs, and it's done. I think I'm with you on the level of this originates from a PR perspective, and manicuring of an image to make it more friendly and comfortable for
it's
family-friendly mainstream America is the theory, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to those tests, that is the test that is getting more than half the league involved in this program. Who are the people doing the testing?
Oh, it's a company they hire. I can't even say what we used to call these people.
Why? Why can't you say it?
Just because we're in a different climate now. This is, you got to think, we used to, we call them,
we can
for a better
it.
word, watchers, because they would really, it came to a point because there was a point where there was, I'm not giving anything that people don't know all their way because the policy is completely gone.
But no, we can talk about it
people
now.
used to have the prosthetic penises.
The Wizinator.
With the someone else's pee in it. And that was what got you, that was urban legend. I heard about that in high school and in first getting in college and this, and you don't got the fake like, nah, bro, I don't got the fake Sorry.
The Wizinator is a lifelike prosthetic penis designed to simulate male urination. It is very easy to use and available in white, black, and Latino skin tones.
And then it would be a situation where sometimes you would just turn a cup of pee in so you can have someone else pee for you. So, I mean, obviously it started to evolve and they took it more serious. So it got to the point where you had to drop your pants down to your ankles and someone would, like, if this is me peeing right here, there's a watcher light.
This is Matt Barnes taking the podcast microphone and staring at it at an arm's length.
Yeah, it's not yet barely an arm's length. Like they're that close to you and they watch the pee come out of your body. You know what I mean?
So which is to say that the Wizinator became, and the chain of custody of urine became such a threat that they were like, we gotta see it come out of your actual,
out of the source.
We gotta.
Pablo, I kid you not, there's been twice in my career where I had to shit and give the pee, and this person had to come in the stall with me because they wanted to make sure that I wasn't. So I had to put the cup down in here while I'm shitting, and I would have to pee in a cup. Like if I'm
and
lying,
that's just nature calling.
If I'm lying, I'm flying. I'm just like, I'm not gonna be able to pee without someone else coming out. So I'm gonna have to go, and it happened twice in my career.
And they were there.
They were there, man.
So
it was serious.
I didn't realize that I would find out that Matt Barnes shit and peed in front of a drug testing NBA employee twice.
Yeah, I don't even think it's. Yeah, they're working for the NBA, but they're an outside company.
So as in they show up. How
the morning of they have to, so the morning, so it used to go, so once we were in the 4 randoms, we would get a call the morning of from our trainer. it used to say who was on the list, 4 to 5 guys. And I think they got hip to that. So they just started saying, okay, just 4 or 5 guys, but we're not giving you any names till we get there. So there could have or may not been trainers that got paid to say who was on the list so we can prepare. That I can't confirm or deny that. May have happened. May have not. Allegedly is the word. So it got to the point now where it's just, all right, most teams are in group chats. All right, drug test guy to here today. So I would just always, every time that happened, which is probably, 10 times a year, 8 times a year, I would have to treat it like I was getting tested. So I always had a drink on me. So I'd have to get up early. I would take this nasty drink. Then I'd drink 3 big bottles of water.
You're like entering ghost protocol.
Right. It's tough because especially you got to think if it's a game day or a practice because you're so bloated from having to take this shake and then drink all this water. And then you have to pee 3 times. And then you have a 6-hour window where you can pee clean.
Right.
And I did that for almost 15 years.
But you were ready. It was like people have like a to-go bag.
On call. So I'm eating clean. I'm eating a lot cleaner. So, you stay lean. So you get that out of your, because they say it on average is a month.
Right? And well, the THC gets stored in.
Yeah.
In
but they
fat
say
too.
on average, it stays in your system for a month. They say it stays in your hair a little longer. But this is pre being accepted. So it's just like I'm eating clean. After the games, I'm in the steam room, or after the games, I'm even doing another workout just to sweat more. So it was a real job to do it.
I imagine at a certain point, these guys who are like contracted with the NBA, who are watching you shit in a stall with you, watching your dick in the most real way.
That sounds violating even talking about it.
It sounds insane. I wonder if there's even some sort of like camaraderie where just like,
oh, we knew the dudes by name and everything. Like, it was cool. We would be cool with them. We'd be cool with these dudes. We knew them by name. It kind of just was what it was. I mean, they knew they were dick watching, and we knew they had to watch our dick. So it was kind of just damned if you do, damned if you don't. We need this piece somehow. That's what it was.
Oh, my God. Just a series of incredible sentences. When it comes to the estimates of like how many guys are enjoying cannabis in the league at the time that they were playing. So I've seen a couple of estimates. So obviously the most, I think, direct one is your estimation that more than half the league per these testers were in the program. But then, of course, Al Harrington is saying probably around 70% of the NBA when he played. Kenyon Martin was saying, Kenyon Martin played from 2000 to 2015, overlapping with you in large part. He was saying that. Too. Yeah, 85% of the NBA is his
I'm
number.
just saying only half the league was caught. That's not saying so a lot of people got, because you got to think, I got caught 2 times and I played for 15 years. You know what I mean? So there was a lot of times I wasn't getting caught.
Right. And so the question I have, which is based off of just that degree of pervasiveness in the league, when you think about why they were doing it, what's your theory?
I don't know why. I can never speak to why they were doing it. I can only speak to why I was doing it. And it was something that it would just became a part of me and to this day. And I feel like in life, whether you're a big-time athlete or CEO or just a housewife that takes care of kids all day, like everyone has a vice, whether it be a glass of wine, whether it be harder alcohol, whether it be harder drugs, whatever it may be. And I kind of just felt like cannabis is not really that bad. And now that there's medical research backing it up, it was just kind of my vice. And that's why I did it. Again, it was as an athlete, I wasn't someone who popped pills a bunch. While pills are, I've talked to football guys where, pills are like in big jars of, it's almost like little candy for them. But as, for athletes, there was
a problem
for basketball. It was, we can get our hands on anything we want. I mean, I even got shot with Toradol to play,
which is, again, a football style remedy.
Yeah. So it's just like, it was always that or, cut that in half and smoke weed with it.
So the idea of like pain management, I think, I wonder if people appreciate how much of a constant state of pain some players are in. Because football is like, well, that's football.
Yeah.
But the NBA,
Basketball.
you're saying that.
Hardwood. I mean, banging, falling on the ground, ankles, fingers. I mean, obviously football is contact every single, but, and then it's played on grass and it's a very physical sport. Hockey, very physical. But basketball is that hardwood and we're on the ground a lot and people don't realize how hard, like the ground is undefeated. You know what I mean? So it's just wear and tear. It's a long season, 82 games. So, I was lucky to not really have any significant injuries, but it's just the wear and tear of just basketball alone is a lot on your body.
Right. And so coming into this, I was like, okay, if we're talking about 85% of the NBA potentially, 85% of the highest level basketball league that's ever existed enjoying cannabis. I want to get to the question of how many of those guys, or at the very least, how realistic it is that some people were taking whatever form of marijuana that they were in order to actually play better, in order to be better at the game that they would be otherwise.
I wouldn't say that cannabis directly makes you better from a enhancement standpoint of an HGH or a steroid or something like that. I would say it enhances your play because you get a great night's sleep. It helps with inflammation. I smoked before I played, so I'm watching game film on Kobe, and I'm high. So I'm tuned into his moves. I know his rhythm. I know when he takes 2 dribbles right, he's going to stop and shot fake and get me up in the air. He's going to. So I'm locked in.
You're
on
stoned watching Kobe Bryant.
The task,
film.
whoever it was, Carmelo Anthony, LeBron James, Kevin Durant. That was my job. I had to guard the best players in the world every night. The best guy on every team I had to guard every night.
This is why you're the perfect person to talk about with this stuff, because your job was not merely to like get onto the floor and passively be a normal person while stoned. It was to stop the greatest scorers in the history of the league.
Yeah, man.
But there are lots of people out there who are listening to this conversation, and they're like, when I smoke weed, I need to sit in a couch and not move. And you're doing potentially the most opposite version of that entire spectrum of possibilities. I'm trying to stop Kobe Bryant from scoring 40. You're trying to stay awake watching the rest of Oppenheimer.
Right. It worked for me. It worked for me. You know what I mean? But there's times at a time where I would be getting, I'm not going to lie, again, it did a lot of things for me. Mentally, focus, sleep, anti-inflammatory. But there's time, Pablo, after just a crazy day of game, stress, or family, or issues, or I'm in TMZ and on SportsCenter, and I'm fighting with my former teammate, and I'm getting a divorce in front of the world, but I still got to play. Like sometimes
you're getting name-checked by Kanye, Matt Barnes.
Right.
I'm about to drive 90 miles like Matt Barnes just to whip a ass.
So, I mean, sometimes I do just sit back on the couch, man, and just smoke and get high and just kind of just allow things to...
As your God-given right as a human being.
Man.
Absolutely.
God is good.
But the question of the science of this, right? Of like, what does marijuana help an athlete do potentially? So I've been reading into the science on this, and we've talked to actually a couple of scientists.
My name is Angela Bryan, and I'm a professor of psychology and neuroscience at the University of Colorado, Boulder.
And their argument is, one of them is, this is not a performance-enhancing drug. And what Professor Bryan did in retrospect made a lot of sense. She set up this experiment to test the effect of cannabis on athletes by asking a runner to run the same route twice, once under the influence of cannabis and another time sober.
Under the influence of cannabis, people, they went pretty significantly slower in the cannabis run. The data we have collected suggest that, the organizations that ban cannabis on the basis of it being a performance-enhancing drug are flat out wrong.
But what you're saying is that you found benefits personally when it came to how you proceeded on the court. And so one of the things that I'm curious about is when it came to playing in the game specifically, how do you think it made you better?
I just think it was focus. It helped me with my focus. But I'll even take it back. Say we're in LA tonight. I'm playing for Golden State. We're in LA tonight. We play Kobe and the Lakers. And then we have a back-to-back on a TNT game, which means everything's a little bit later. And we got to fly to San Antonio right after this game to play Tim Duncan. So we're getting to San Antonio, TNT game. It's going to go an hour longer. Everyone's got to do media after. It's going to take an hour and a half, 2 hours to get on the plane and actually in the air to San Antonio. We're not getting to San Antonio until anywhere between 2 and 4 a.m. So some people, it's hard to get off a plane, wake up, get on the bus, and get to your room and go right back to sleep. What are you going to do? Are you going to drink? You're going to take a sleeping pill that's going to have you groggy now for 8 to 10 hours. It might mess up your pregame nap. Or me, I'm going to go ahead and smoke me one to the face and make sure I go to sleep, within the first 30 minutes, 40 minutes while I'm there, and get a great sleep and get ready to guard Manu or Tony or whoever else I had to, guard that night. I was just glad that it finally has reached a point where there's medical research backing this up. And now, most of major sports, if I'm not mistaken, test for it once or don't test at all for it.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is where we are living in the future being the present tense now. So, like, for instance, I just want to contrast this, right? So Al Harrington once said that he would never get high before playing like Kevin Durant.
But Al was my dog, so Al didn't even start smoking until like late. Al wasn't really smoking during the days like where we were, and that's the only reason I'm talking shit because that's our guy.
Yeah, of course.
But it was some guys didn't, like Steven Jackson. Someone I can say that he was smoking while he was playing. He didn't smoke before games either. He after games he would blow it down with you, but before games he wouldn't.
So this club that you were, of course, a charter member of, like I'm smoking before a game. Explain what that ritual was.
So it would be, first of all, explain the post-game ritual is normally everybody. Or whoever's a smoker on the team, after the game, we're burning it down.
Great.
Sometimes watching game film, sometimes, order some food to the house, kick it, get ready to go out, or whatever the situation may be. Day of depends. If you're on the road and there's a couple guys that smoke, I've had guys come to my room and after shoot around, we'll go to shoot around. Shoot around's 11 or 12 o'clock for an hour. We come home, I'll come home and, one of the teammates will come over to my room and we'll smoke one, and then I'll take a nap. I'll wake up, take a shower, eat, and go to the game. So within probably if I'm smoking about 1 or 2 and the game's at 7, within a 5-hour window. So it's not like I'm smoking on the way to the game, but it was something that I would smoke, and it helps me take because I like to take like 2-hour pregame naps, sometimes 3-hour pregame naps. Help me take that nap, wake up, feel refreshed, get in the shower, eat, and it's time to go.
Right. And how set was that process?
That was 95% of the time.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And so the question of focus, I want to get to that because it's interesting, right? So as much as science is saying you're not going to get the benefits from weed as you would anabolic steroids, obviously. It's interesting that like a sport like archery, and this is where you got to go a little bit off the board to see the parallels. In Olympic archery, alcohol is a banned substance because the theory is that alcohol for some people calms their nerves. If you've ever played darts, if you've ever played beer pong, all of us have felt like Kobe.
Oh, at one time, I'm nice at beer pong, by the way.
I have no doubt about that.
Even if I have to keep my elbow behind.
I was going to say
line.
the elbow rule is a big. I would be enforcing the shit out of that.
Yeah, I'm getting it.
On you.
I'm ready for it. Next time we hang together, we're playing beer pong. Right.
Who else was on your sort of approach? Who else is like? How many other guys were like that?
There was a lot, to be honest with you. There was a lot. Again, close team. I would only speak on people who are close. The Steven Jacksons. Who else can I speak of?
Yeah, who's okay with this now?
It just depends because people are at different places in their life. Like some of my OGs, like someone who kind of raised me, who was my big brother, was instrumental in kind of making it like this is a responsibility. You still have to do this and this and this. And he was someone who was kind of, again, big brother me when I first came to the league, and I was bouncing around and not really set on any team, but still doing it because I knew it was something I was with. So I'll leave it at the names of Steven Jackson, but I played with some of the greatest players ever to play this game have, been involved with this plan and winning championships.
By the way, was there a sense as to like when you were in the league, were guys smoking? Were they eating edibles? Were edibles really a thing at that point?
Edibles were just coming along. You got to think my last year was 16, 17. So edibles had touched down. But I felt like you had to be really well versed in that space, and I wasn't. I had a couple homeboys that they had the edibles down to microdosing before it was, because it just first came as edibles, and microdosing came later.
Yeah.
But I had homeboys that were test dummies that would crash and
teen wolfing.
And figure out what's right, and then and these are other athletes, these are other teammates. You know what I mean? One particular teammate was a test dummy. Was my dog, one of my own.
How does one end up the test dummy on an NBA team?
Just he's the one that wants to jump in there. You know what I mean? I had, like I said, edibles were new. Like we all kind of knew we all had our older stories of how we found out how, the actual joint or blunt were for us. Edibles are different.
There's only one way to find out what this specific edible contains.
You got to jump in there butt naked and see what happens.
But I want to get to the question of like, okay, some people, they have a little bit of weed and they have a laughing attack, and God bless those people. Love it. But at the same time, for you, your reaction time wasn't slower.
No.
That's the crazy part, is like, that's for so many people unrelatable.
Yeah. Well, and then all this stuff, the psychedelics, the cannabis, the alcohol, it's everyone is different. So how it affects you is different. I was never a huge drinker, but I know that I can, no matter what, I can probably take 5, 6, 7 shots and be okay because I'm 6'8", 240. You know what I mean? My body's different, and I completely know my body. You know what I mean? I know that I can smoke a joint or two and be completely fine. You know what I mean? So everyone is different. You know, someone with the same makeup may not have that type of, but again, all that is a tolerance. So this stuff hits everyone different. So I would never, this is what I did because it worked for me. I don't know what works for you.
Right, you're not prescribing.
No, I'm not a doctor. But if you want to have fun, come kick it.
When it comes to the strain, sativa, indica, what's part of your
I was always
preference?
an indica guy because sativa was fairly new. Like it kind of caught on. When I kind of started hearing about it was like maybe 13, 14, 15. But girls were kind of smoking it when it was first coming out. So I tried it and it was cool. It's a different taste. It's obviously a different type of high. But I've always been kind of a indica guy, which is, the OGs, the purple, the kush, that kind of stuff is what I grew up smoking. Obviously, it's gotten stronger and better over the years, but
that's the relaxant as opposed to the upper of a sativa.
But on the flip side, it's just it's whatever works for you, and everything now is it's a hybrid because they're crossing everything now, so everything is a little bit of everything now. So it's really your preference. But yeah, I was more of an indica guy because that's what I grew up on.
What about your coaches in the league? How much of a understanding was there?
The only coach I really think had an understanding and cared to have an understanding was Nelly. Nelly was super cool. Nelly,
Don Nelson.
Don Nelson from the We Believe Warrior team. Right after we beat the Dallas Mavericks, Jack used to live in the same building as Nelly, and Jack was in the middle floors, and Nelly had the whole penthouse. So we went to Jack's, me, him, Barron, a couple other people, pre-game because we're going to hit the city before we go out, and Nelly wanted us to come up. So Nelly, again, has the whole top floor, penthouse, balcony, everything. We come up there.
What a ridiculous apartment complex you're describing.
So dope. Go up there, and right when we walk in the door, Nelly's like, "Hey, fellas, Woody's in the back rolling doobies." And we're like, what the f***? We kind of like, what? He's just like, this is front of, there's some Hollywood stars there, probably executives from the team. We're like, holy shit, what did this man just say? Yeah, Woody's in the back. And we go in the back, and Woody Harrelson's rolling up joints. So me, Barron, and Jack go in the back of our coaches, on our coaches' balcony during the playoffs. We're still in season, and smoke weed with Woody Harrelson.
So Nelly, you discovering that Woody Harrelson was hanging out inside of Nelly's apartment. Yeah. How much of a surprise was it that Nelly was that kind of a smoker? Or did you know that by that point?
I didn't know that Nelly was really smoking. Nelly was just so cool and laid back. Like he would come to the practice at 10 or 11 o'clock with either a beer or a coffee cup. Sometimes it's coffee, sometimes it's Crown. And then his dog that would piss everywhere. You know what I mean? So Nelly was just so with the flow that he just didn't give a shit. I think he knew that, let these guys do what they need to do because, as long as they show up, we're good. You know what I mean? As long as they're staying out of trouble, we're good.
It feels like historically the turning point in terms of just like, at least my understanding of how the NBA felt about this. It was an interview actually that the aforementioned Al Harrington did with David Stern.
Yeah.
And again, we've been talking about David Stern's NBA this whole time. David Stern and Adam Silver. Adam Silver was David Stern's deputy, but David Stern was...
mafia boss.
Yes. The Iron Fist. And maybe Adam has a velvet glove around that Iron Fist.
He's
but
got
David
Michael
Stern,
Jackson's glove.
But David Stern was a terrifying person to everybody. And so when Al Harrington has David Stern basically on this couch with him, talking about what the next phase of the NBA's weed policy should be, David Stern says something that I truly, when I first heard it in 2017, needed to rewind.
Marijuana is now in the process of being legalized. I would think you should be allowed to do what's legal in your state. So now I think it's up to the sports leagues to anticipate where this is going and maybe lead the way. It's about deciding to take it off the banned substance list because it's no different than other subjects that may work or not work with particular players. Right. I'm now at the point where personally I think it probably should be removed from the banned list.
He basically says, I don't think it should be criminalized anymore. The watchers can all stop watching.
Find a new job, fellas. And it was big. And again, 17 was the season I retired. So, obviously, shout out to my brother, Al Harrington. I definitely think opening that door was Al and rest in peace, Commissioner Stern. And, saying at this point where we are as a, as a world, as a culture, as a sport, I don't think it should be banned. And I think that was the beginning of people starting to talk about it. it all came to a head during the pandemic, where
Yep.
if I'm not mistaken, they didn't test in the bubble.
Yep.
And after that,
They just
it was
kept
gone.
on saying, we're not going to do it. It seems like when you listen to David Stern's words, what he's saying also is basically like, look, it's not just the culture that's changing, not just the science that's now becoming clear, like the economy around this is becoming clearer. And that part, the part about like, oh, by the way, now the owners can get in on this. That always felt like the actual quiet subtext of all of this, which is we can make money on this now too.
We can make money on it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many got involved as management or owners, but I know a lot of players. You know, you mentioned one being KD, and I remember KD and I used to have talks, and I said it's going to be more socially acceptable if a superstar would ever take that stance.
So did you smoke today?
Yeah.
And you're just fine?
I'm actually high right now.
I think he's kind of been that star that has kind of not come out and just, I'm a smoker, but he's invested in it.
He's a Weed Maps deal.
He's got a deal with Weed Maps, and, you know, him and Rich Kleiman have been very strategic on the way they do it. But, you know, it's, like I said, some of the greatest to ever do it, some of the greatest in the game to rookies have all, you know, kind of fallen to it. And before, you know, you think about you being a rookie and getting, you know, a test and the team finds out, you know, you're really risking your job at that point. So I just think it's come a really long way. And as someone who risked a lot during my career to do it, you know, I'm just very happy that these guys don't have to worry about it.
So the CBA, the new collective bargaining agreement, in April 2023, it was officially decided that after the pandemic and the bubble into just like kicking the can down the road of like, okay, we're not going to test in 2021 or 2022, 2023, finally, it's codified. Like, the era is over.
It's out of here.
It's dead. And it also, relatedly, inside of that document, which is like almost 700 pages, is interesting. There is now text that allows guys to, as you alluded to, have stakes in various companies. And it just seemed like at that point, it didn't even feel like a thing. As much as you guys were behind the scenes, like trying to create momentum towards a change, by 2023 in April, and the CBA being codified that way, it didn't even feel like a fight. That's the crazy part. Like it
wasn't. You would think it would have been a knockdown, drag out. You know, guys are standing for it. People,
the traditional ownership versus labor versus management. It seemed like, oh, everybody realized this is fighting a tide that's turned a long time ago.
Wasting our time. We're actually late to the party.
Yes. And that's the funny part about doing an episode like this now. Of course, it's like, you know, in celebration of the holiday coming up, of course, 420, it feels appropriate, but it also feels like, I mean, truly, like America's attitudes towards cannabis have changed so dramatically that it just feels, I live in New York. I said this to you before. When you visited the city, I'm like, I walk around and there's nothing stopping anybody from...
It's not a big deal.
The science of it now, right? So there are all these scientists who are saying, we don't think it's a PED, but we also want to acknowledge that there just isn't enough research into this.
We want to do more controlled studies where we compare forms like edibles versus, vaping versus smoking, so that we can really answer some of those questions about the impact they have on lung function, on breathing, and on how the exercise feels.
As crazy as the attitudes changing so dramatically towards also like family friendly now.
Yeah.
Weed is more family friendly than it's ever been in ways that are unthinkable to people who lived through the 90s, obviously in your case. But it's also still a scheduled federal Schedule 1 drug.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It'd be nice if this drug was actually like federally decriminalized.
You would think.
So that science can officially dive in all the way on what does this do to a person from the athletic sports context? That would be nice.
And just a little deeper of, people with minor cannabis offenses are not sitting years in prison.
No question.
You know what I mean? So it's just like we're out here making money on it now, and people who, did it as a means of survival to get by are rotting away in jail, or have been killed over it. So it's just it's a deep journey that we've been on. But I feel from a professional sports standpoint, I feel like everyone has it right. It's not that we have to promote that guys are doing it, but we're not testing for it anymore.
What's the next phase of this, do you think?
I mean, you mentioned mushrooms before. You mentioned psychedelics before.
I kind of feel like honestly, the cannabis wave is kind of settled. Oddly enough, I mean, it was the green rush for a handful of years. If you got in, early teens of the 2012, 13, 14, and it was hit an all-time high, and then it's definitely settled. I would say in the last 3 or 4 years, it's not that big of a deal anymore. I definitely think psychedelics are really buzzing right now, and guys are taking their cannabis money and investing in psychedelics. The world is just really open to some of these now that there's a little bit of research behind it, and people are realizing the benefits from it.
To bring it all the way back around, the question of whether weed is a PED. So it's a more complicated answer than the one that I was assuming you might give, which is to say that you did it in a way that made your NBA career better. But what I'm finding out is that it was helpful, it was performance enhancing in a sense that's not the same as I was stronger or I had this mental state even that was more advantageous. It was the way that you found peace in your life that allowed you to be the best version of the asshole that many, many teams wanted you to be.
Absolutely. No, it was my vice, so to speak.
What I'm realizing also is that when it comes to weed as a PED, it's far more obviously, I think, it feels more like a podcasting PED, like a writer's PED.
Right.
Like what it is for me is like, I have writer's block and I'm by myself. I need to hear from someone else with another opinion on this.
Yeah.
That someone else is me, but slightly higher than I am now.
I mean, to me, it's a creative. I feel like I'm a better form of me on it. And again, I played on it. I went on TV on it, whether it was ESPN or Fox or Sacramento Kings. And, obviously all the smoke, it speaks for itself. You know what I mean? Yes. So it's just like, to show, I think for athletes to show on several levels that it's not something that it used to be. It's going to gateway drug and you're a thug and you're this if you smoke and you're going to do this and you're going to waste your life. And it's just, it's more serious than that now. It's a medication now and it's something that's important to this world.
When you think back at the end here, at the fondest memory you have of the time in which none of this was allowed and none of this was okay, what makes you smile when you think back at like the before times?
The good times I had on the Warriors, the Clippers, the Lakers. Smoking at your coach's house? How many people can say you're smoking at your current coach's house? I mean, there was just, I smile when I think about, obviously what that plant has done for me and the fun times, the fun times we had doing it. So it was a big part of my life. It's continuing to be a part of my life, and obviously now in moderation. That I'm a father of 6 and have one on the way, and I'm building a production company, so it's not as much as I used to, but it still definitely happens, and it's still for those similar reasons that I gave back when I was 15 years old.
Right? Is there anything you want to say to the guy who had to watch you take a while peeing at the same time?
Who are you, bro? What's your name? Were you able to look at yourself in the mirror and tell your wife that I had to stand in a stall with a former player as he so I can get a little bit of pee out of him?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. On that note, Matt Barnes, thank you for coming through, man. Absolutely.
No doubt.
This has been Pablo Torre Finds Out, a Meadowlark Media production. And I'll talk to you next time.
Pablo, genuinely, I didn't prepare anything. I thought we were smoking weed for this podcast. I thought you and I were going to bully him and just make him watch us smoke weed. And then we moved it to here, and we're not doing that anymore. So I smoked a bunch of weed before I came.
I do have a bag full of, I think, Mike Tyson edibles.
Those are great.
We've been collecting.
Oh, the ones that look like ears?
Yeah, we got the Mike bites.
I've had those before.
So I guess I should say that I have collected what seems to be sports media's largest collection of athlete-branded weed.
God, this is such a tease.
For an episode that we were going to do today, until I learned recently that we can't do it, even though I think we should and will do it eventually.
Eventually, yes.
Because
this summer we can.
Absolutely. So that's this summer. All of this will be consumed this summer. But in the meantime, I want to explain why we can't do it.
And that is?
I've taken a extended break from smoking and consuming marijuana.
This is me clapping along.
Because
into a bunch of edibles.
Yeah.
The producers behind the glass are like, why are we applauding this? And I want to hear Dan out.
Well, number one, it's legal now, so it's only for dorks.
Okay, don't start there.
If you weren't
Don't
doing
start
it
there.
when it was actually worth the risk, you're a narc and a nerd.
He's not like this, I swear.
And no, I've been consistently getting high almost daily since I was 15, and I'm about to turn 41. So that's 26 years of dunking my brain in resin. And
what's the longest break you went on in that time?
For 5 days.
That's wild.
And I'm at day 14 right now.
Woo!
I have so many questions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in therapy. I've been in therapy for 13 years. And there becomes this moment. I quit drinking 11 years ago. And when I quit drinking, there became this moment where it felt like it didn't serve me anymore. Started feeling like it was holding me back. And these are feelings that any addict will tell you that when you're conscious of it, you feel like, I know I need to stop and I don't want to. It's like being in a toxic relationship. You're like, it feels good, but there's a lot of bad, and I'm ignoring the bad because I still like the good a little bit, but I know in my soul I need to get out of it. And you convince yourself, I'm fine. So when I started doing therapy, I was having a lot of problems, and my therapist was like, well, you're an alcoholic. And I was like, I'm not an alcoholic. I just party. Sorry, I'm such a blast.
She's like, no, I know. People say that all the time. It's like written that line on like a poster.
Well, what he said
but it's different for me. I'm different.
No. I'm built different. So I remember when I was quitting drinking specifically, I was like, I drink, but I'm not my dad. My dad was an alcoholic. I'm not an alcoholic. And my therapist just point blank goes, no, you're being exactly like your dad. You're drinking and you're not taking ownership of it. You're using it as an excuse. You're using it as a crutch. And I was like, well, that's not true. And then I quit drinking and I realized he was right. And I have no want or need to go back to drinking. It's very few and far between. With how much non-alcoholic beer has progressed in the last 7 years, the one thing I missed was having a beer at a baseball game. I used to love to go to a Mets game and have a giant beer and then 7 more. But that first beer was always like, this is unbelievable.
And what about it, though? Just to explain to
baseball is a beer drinking sport.
Yeah.
You watch when you go to the park for baseball, you want a hot dog and a beer. You want to sit there. It's a relaxed environment. You're just kind of chilling. I loved a summer day, a beer, and watching a game.
Yes.
And when I quit drinking, there was a lot of things I missed the getting f***ed up part, but I missed I went to a Mets game and I was like, this is the biggest itch I've ever had is I want a beer. But now non-alcoholics are so good that I can have a Heineken Zero, I can have an Athletic and just be like, this feels like I'm drinking a beer.
The ritual gets to be simulated.
It scratches the itch. I've been smoking weed that whole time, but I doubled down on the weed.
I was going to ask, what's the substitution effect when you can't do the thing?
Cigarettes and weed. I was smoking cigarettes, but then I quit cigarettes 6 months later. So all I was left with was weed. So that got ratcheted up quadruple.
How long ago was this?
11 years ago.
Okay.
So when did you quit cigarettes? 11 years ago?
Yeah, I quit smoking. I quit drinking in March of 2013, and I quit cigarettes June, right before my 30th birthday, because I didn't want to go into my 30s smoking cigarettes. So I quit June 23rd, 2013.
I don't even remember the year, and you remember the date.
Oh, I remember the date, baby, because I miss cigarettes still.
So I was going to ask about, okay, so
the hardest thing to quit is cigarettes. The hardest thing to quit for me, I know other people have different feelings. I miss cigarettes daily. Katie and I talk about it all the time. She quit cigarettes. She's not going to brag about this, but I'm very proud of her. She was on Nicorette gum and mints and then quit in January. And she's been good.
December 24th.
There you go. See, you remember the day.
Only because this was Christmas Eve and we were on a road trip, and then 2 days later we're sleeping in our car, and I was like, could really go for some of that thing that takes the edge off right now. I still have one on me.
And she never used it. And I was very impressed that she quit nicotine
It's
in
the
that situation.
lamest thing to have to quit. Is like little candies you put in your mouth every few hours.
Yeah, but people don't realize.
But it's a real.
I'm
it was a
addicted to
real
Werther's
addiction.
Originals.
Yeah, well, that's what I replaced him with, Pablo. Thank you. Shout out to the Werther's company.
Yeah,
they
you
make
did.
them in all different flavors.
And by the
now,
way,
you know.
she's just walking through bags.
Not anymore.
Not
I slowed
anymore.
down. I slowed
but
down in LA.
February and March, there were Werther's wrappers everywhere because Candy was just popping them.
On the question of the edge off and that effect, is that what you missed? To be specific about like what cigarettes did for you?
I mean, they're cool as shit. I miss going outside. I miss the first
The sound, sorry, but the sound
flick
when
of
the
the lighter
flame hits the paper and you
and
take the first pull, that like,
and the when you go like this.
yeah.
And
But
you go,
don't do it. If you
No.
haven't this is the thing that I'm like, don't start.
Yeah,
but
there's
like, let
someone-
us talk about missing when we did it.
A lot of young kids now are getting into Zins and they're getting into stuff. I think if you go straight to vaping or straight to Zins, you're missing the coolest part.
Yeah,
which
you're
is
doing the
smoking
recovery.
and dipping.
Right.
It's like tobacco
Wait,
rules.
the smoking part I get because I've seen movies.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to look like that.
Dipping's
But
pretty great.
dipping, what?
Dipping can be pretty great. I have a lot of friends that dip.
The stuff it
Like
does
packing
to
a
like your
lip dip?
teeth, the stuff it does to your breath, the way you have
Listen.
to carry around as a bartender,
like
the
spitting
amount of
into a
times
Coke
I've had to
can.
clear people's like spit
Yeah,
cups.
but anyone that had dipped watching this goes, I get it.
I don't.
They're like,
That one
Nate,
I don't.
Nate Bargatze might watch this and go, I get it. I get it and I miss it. Because I remember he would pick me up in Queens and he'd pack a lip and I would be waiting to get out to smoke a cigarette. I miss cigarettes. But when I quit cigarettes, I found I could smoke a joint and it
Yeah,
would
because
kind
it
of
feels the same. It
Yeah.
does. They say a lot of it. I remember they say a lot of it's the physical act. So they'll say like cut a straw real short
Like
when
a
you're trying to
oral
quit.
fixation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and just like do that like you would a
dum-dums.
cigarette.
They say
But,
like dum-dums,
you
toothpicks.
You replace smoking with smoke.
Yeah, with cooler smoke.
Yes.
And I just always loved weed. Like since the time I was 15, I just liked getting high. I still like getting high.
But you're from Colorado.
Yeah, which it wasn't legal until 2014.
So do you remember this is where we talked about the first time we smoked weed, I guess, but when?
God.
Well, it depends on what kind of weed, because I smoked like swag when I was in like.
That's what most people smoke in high school, I believe.
With
It's
seeds
like
and stems
it's
and
just
shit.
yes, exactly. It's garbage.
I didn't really like that because the high from swag is very red eyes, very hungry, very giggly, a crash. You're like, And then the first time I smoked chronic is what we called it back when I was a child.
So 40 years ago.
Yeah, 26 years ago.
Damn, I was only joking.
Shout out Brian Tannenbaum. He rolled a blunt and we were at this girl Amber's house party and he's like, oh, I got chronic. And I remember the day because it was a year to the day my dad died.
Oh my
so
God.
it was December 12th, 1998. And me and Brian smoked a blunt of chronic that he got from Boulder. Boulder, Colorado had incredible weed. That was the light green with the red hairs, no sticks, no seeds. And he rolled it and we smoked in this backyard and I got the greatest high I've ever had in my life. I was laughing my ass off. I was wearing a Mountain Dew box as a hat. Thought it was the greatest bit of all time. I stayed at Zach's house. I slept at Zach's house and I've told this story before, but I was so high that the next morning I had a weed hangover, which is I was giggly and hungry. And I went home and my mom's boyfriend, Joe, was watching UConn's women basketball. And I was like, it was like 10 in the morning. And I was like, we should order Pizza Hut. And he was like, what? And I was like, we should get one of those. They came out with the Brooklyn XL pizza.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, we should get a Brooklyn XL pizza. Like I could hammer one of those. And he was like, no. And I kept doing the thing of like, come on, Joe. I was trying to get a bonding moment. Like I would have liked him a lot more if he would have gone like, yeah.
You know what Gino Auriemma would want us to do right now?
You know what?
Papa Gino?
Yeah, dude, let's get it. Gino's Italian. They love pizza from Brooklyn. And he shot it down. And then I just remember going in like, Joe sucked. It just became like, oh, like it's like going from drinking $3 vodka to the first time you try like good liquor where you go like, oh, this is like a different
category.
Yeah, like I like this. So then it just became, who can get chronic? Let's smoke bowls. And then it got out of control. Like high school.
What does that mean?
Gravity bong hits. We're doing shotguns.
Are you making a gravity bong? Or you actually, okay.
Absolutely. I have a
Like
great
bucket, soda
just to
bottle?
reiterate, this is during the developmental years of your brain.
Yeah, well, whatever, dude. It warped it. But we would take a gallon of milk and then we'd cut off the bottom. And then with the cap, we would use aluminum foil to make the bowl.
Poke some holes in it.
Yeah, poke the holes in it. And then we put the bowl and then we put it in like this, I think it was a kitty box. Like
Kitty litter box?
Yeah, like one of the old ones from
cat toilet?
From a dead cat. We washed it out. We're not fucking idiots.
No, you didn't. You were
Yeah, we
high
did.
school boys.
No, we washed it out because we knew what it was. So we put the water in. I have a
some
picture
respect.
of it. I have a picture at our house
Good.
of me taking a gravity bong hit. And we would just get ripped. And we were just finding ways to get up. And then it became whatever money you made at your job, can I go get an eighth? Like who had eighths? Shout out Devin. I think he's in prison right now. But Devin had weed at the apartment complex by my house.
I hope he's not in prison for weed.
No, I think might be murder.
Okay.
For those not
that's
watching
different.
on YouTube or the DraftKings Network, Dan did the thing that Sammy Sosa did when he hit a home run to Devin, who might be in jail.
Shout out Devin, dude. I know you're on the inside, but we're on the outside living for you. And our senior year, we voted him most likely to brighten your day, and the school changed it because they found out who it was.
Oh, no.
They were like, no, we're not giving that to a drug dealer. And we're like, no.
But he is
No.
the most likely.
He was the most likely to brighten your
my
day. So we just became kind of like, my dad had died, so I kind of cirrhosis, so I kind of saw what alcohol did. So I was like, well, this ain't booze. Not knowing I had an addict's brain and just being like, well, I'm just smoking weed. I just became like a huge pothead and I just like loved smoking weed and I loved smoking weed up until 14 days ago.
But the question of like, what does being a huge pothead actually entail for people who aren't huge potheads and want to
All right, let me
visualize
I'll give you this example. When you go to the doctor, they ask you how many drinks you have a week. That's a thing.
No one ever, I remember never telling the truth.
No one tells the truth.
I didn't go
used
the
to-
lowest, but I went to the middle one, even though I knew that I was probably like the third or the one that says
What'd you
or
say?
more. I feel like I did the like 3 to 6
3 to
a
6,
week.
yeah.
Yeah,
or
like, I'm
something.
on the Mediterranean diet,
Yeah.
I think. I can drink a glass of red wine. Sure.
I have a couple of I remember I was drinking 16 drinks a night.
Oh my
and
God. Oh my
I
God.
would
You're
do-
such a tall tree.
I would do 8 beers and 8 shots. That's what because I'd do a shot and a beer, which Nate Bargatze always would be like, if you eliminate shots, you're all right. And I was like, I don't know if that's true. I still think I'm drinking 8 beers. But I used to do a shot of Jameson with a Bud back, Bud heavy.
Isn't that funny? I did not know that because he had quit drinking by the time we met.
Yeah.
But like, that's the guy I'm going to marry. That's what he would have drank.
Yeah.
So it worked.
And then when I got a little money, I
The
moved
guy
to
in this
Stella.
time capsule
Yeah,
is
yeah.
your husband.
But
Yeah.
ask anybody, and they knew.
That's the guy I would have picked. You
Shot
just were
of
hiding
Jameson
from
with
me.
a Bud heavy,
Yeah.
and then a couple Camel Lights in between rounds.
I mean,
And
this
so,
is my true love. That's my soulmate.
This is all making sense.
That's my soulmate.
and so finally, I said that to a doctor. I go, I don't know. I do like 8 beers, 8 shots a night, and the doctor was like, Jesus Christ, like complete professionalism out the window. They're like,
He's like, I got to make a call real quick.
I think he went like, God, all right, no, don't do that. That's what I said to my therapist when we were talking about quitting. I said, that was my Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hours. I'm like an expert at getting out of my tits. Like, I'm so good at getting fucked up. I could, like, if someone was too high, call me like Winston the Wolf. Like, I've walked her back a couple times.
So, okay, wait, so let's explain this.
Oh my
What
God,
makes
he has
Dan
walked me back
Soder good at this?
So many times.
Why am I good at it?
Because he's been up there.
And what's it like when he is guiding you?
He knows where the exits are. So
Yeah.
he knows how to get you to the, I mean,
Do you remember?
I go.
Do you
When
remember
I
during
go,
the
I go.
pandemic?
Which one?
The God weed, the God nug.
The one that made me think that we
Orson
already
Welles.
knew. Okay, the Orson Welles one.
I'm sorry.
I don't even know if I can speak about because
Yeah.
I don't even remember. I just remember the only part I remember is that we were watching. We got high,
Very high.
very high, and we were watching. Remember when Orson Welles? I'm gonna this up. He released like 2 movies at the same time, and one was a movie of like
Citizen Kane.
no. but it was like, and then the other was a documentary about the making of that movie or something. I feel like I heard about it from Ride Home. And so I felt like it was going to be like an artsy endeavor for me. It was like the most recent release. They put out this like Orson Welles something.
Again, we were very high.
Either way, we're watching.
Affects your memory.
And I'm already going into this going, is this the movie or is this the documentary about the movie? Which, when I'm high, is exactly what fucks me up. It's the concept of I'm playing a video game or someone's playing a video game and I'm being played by them. And the thing inside the thing,
yes,
when I'm high, makes me go, well, what thing am I inside?
And let me explain to you as a Sherpa.
Yes.
The ground has been moved from under her.
Right.
So then there is a mental free fall.
Right.
The mental free fall is when you have to grab someone and pull them back up and
well,
go.
the reason that the thing that triggered it was Orson Welles is doing the voiceover of this documentary.
Yes.
And in it, he's saying things. He's saying, and now pay close attention here. And it's like a clip from an old movie, but then it would go into people talking. But if I close my eyes, my voice just heard like one continuous audio stream, and it sounded like the clips that Orson Welles was using in the movie were narrating the documentary. So then I was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Orson Welles is talking directly to us.
Yeah, when
Listen.
you get, it's
and
when
I
you
made
get
him
dizzy.
rewind, and Dan's like, what you're saying is happening isn't happening. Are you feeling okay? And then I went, I don't know. Where am I?
Yeah.
And then I just dropped to the ground, and he was like, all right, here we go.
And that's when you're like, you fasten yourself on the mountain.
Yeah.
You go, you get her,
He
and you
opens
climb back up.
He opened
I got her
the,
wind, I got her water.
opens the sliding door, put a glass of water next to me,
Cold wind and water.
calmed Myrtle down because Myrtle's going, what's going on with Mom?
She's trying
What's
to lick
going
her
on with
face.
Mom?
Yeah.
Mom's freaking out.
Dogs understand this. Dogs know when you're spinning.
Yeah.
That's why they're great companions.
She'll do this thing where if I give her the right look that I'm not conscious of, she'll come over and just start licking my hand to be like, calm back down to
Yeah.
earth.
You just
See,
gotta
what is
connect.
this?
Katie's down in a
They'll give
well.
you- yes.
Myrtle's trying to tell people.
Yeah. Yes, she's Lassie. This is Lassie. Timmy's in a well. That's exactly it. You nailed it. And if you've been around super high people, whether it be mushrooms, whether it be weed or acid, you understand that you need to tether them back to the earth.
Yes.
You just need to go
Describe what you're feeling.
Hey,
Describe
hey,
what you're hearing.
This was the best advice I ever received, and I don't know if this man is alive or dead, but it was a guy we used to buy mushrooms off of, and he always said, before you trip, write on your hand, I am tripping, it's okay.
Smart.
Because then that's you from before. So that gives you
can
your
trust
memento
it. I was going to say
Yes.
your memento.
That's exactly it. And there had been some mushroom
My
trips.
Uncle
Do not
Christopher's
trust
movie.
him.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm on fire. You're right. What do you mean I'm right? But I am tripping. I always remember I am tripping. It's okay. And
Right.
like you would look and you go like, okay, got it.
So this too shall pass. You're trying to
That's exactly
intellectually
it.
get them
That's
to buy
exactly it.
into that.
This too shall pass. That's all you need to understand is that it will come back and you will, and that's what I kept saying to her. Hey, give it a little bit. You're fine. You're floating right now. You're going to come back down. It's the soda in Willy Wonka. Burp.
Yep.
Just burp.
Yep.
And you come back down. What loses you is you're up there and you go, I'm never going to come back down.
Yeah.
And then you fly higher
Yeah.
and you do go.
Yeah.
My experience, the worst I ever felt with weed was eating the smallest part of a brownie that a friend had told me, like, yeah.
Edibles do something different to you. I
Yeah,
don't
they
know
do.
what it is.
It's like an unrideable wave.
And it was the feeling of, oh no, they put clearly, based on how I feel, something other than weed in here.
Yeah, well, then
That would
that's
send
the
me down
lose
a
the
spiral.
ground.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would
Now you're just
spiral
like
me.
free floating through space.
Yeah.
Smoking weed is swimming in a pool. Edibles are swimming in the ocean.
Yes.
It's a bigger sea.
Yes.
You can
You
get
can
lost
see
easier.
where the shore is.
There's a rip tide. One of the moments I knew I had to quit drinking was I used to work a lot in the city. I wasn't on the road a lot, and I was working at the Comedy Cellar, and I would do like 4 or 5 spots in a night, and I would go to a bar called Triona's in the West Village, which is right around the corner from the Cellar, and I'd do some day-in drinking because I didn't want to do day-in drinking at the Cellar because I didn't want them going, this new guy is getting too
Smart.
hammered.
No, it's
So, but
still
you knew
stupid,
that.
but it's smarter than it could have been.
I mean, I was born in the darkness, molded by it.
Yeah.
So I knew where to go to get. But then one night I came back for a late show and I was too fucked up, and I literally felt like I had swam too far away from the beach. And that was the feeling I had on stage, was I can't control my words, I can't control my thoughts. And then the next morning I woke up, and as one does hungover, I felt ashamed, I felt anxious, and I was like, man, if I want to be a comic for the rest of my life, I gotta change some shit because I was too up on stage last night at a place that I have dreamt about working since I was 17. So I need to cut drinking. But weed was always there, baby. And I would always, and I love weed. I still do, but it got to a point where I just released a special in March.
Available now on YouTube.
Really good.
Thanks. It's called On the Road.
In 1997, the United States enacted the Deadbeat Dad Law, which meant if you didn't pay child support, you were going to jail. My dad died in 1997. Buzzer beater!
I'm in the process of building, and I just felt like, man, I need to get better. I need to get better. And I think that's always a step someone feels professionally where you're like, what can I do? How can I want every step to be an improvement, even if it can't be, I want to try to improve.
So your comedy, your craft was the reason.
Yeah, it's just around, you know?
Okay, let's leave the art. I don't want to go Levitard and just talk about art and the artist and all that.
Yeah.
But in terms of just
I love comedy and I want to be very good at it. I want to be the best that I can be. If I get old and I'm like, oh, I could have done this, I'm very good at beating myself up, as she knows. That's the only domestic violence in our house is me kicking the shit out of myself in my brain. But I'm just like, I want to be as good as I can be. I had the same feeling with weed that I was having about alcohol all those years ago.
I was going to say, you've identified now, like, being on stage with alcohol as the turning point, and this too seemingly
I was like forgetting words. I was forgetting trains of thought. I was forgetting like, where am I going with this? And I'm already kind of dumb, so like it was making me dumber. And I just kind of felt like, all right, well, let's try. Let's just like, and I had the same talk, same therapist, and he said, what about quitting weed? And what it was specifically was I have a lot of anger and a lot of stuff that I haven't worked on from the death of my father and my sister. Because after my dad died, that December 12th, 1998, I started smoking weed. My sister was killed in a car accident on October 29th, 1999. And so I go through that and I'm just getting like more up. Right. And then I lose my aunt in 07 that I was close to, and I just getting more up, and just people I knew were dying, and I was just getting like, well, like I'm good at this.
Did it feel like self-medicating?
Yeah, 100%.
Like you were aware that that's what was happening?
No, but I kind of did. It's kind of
just make
like,
you feel better enough.
Yeah, man, it made me feel great. Great. But then, I was talking to my old roommate, Vecchione, about this today at breakfast, where I kind of had this this like fake persona of like, oh, I'm a chill weed guy. But then I'd lose in a video game and explode.
And then we had to get a new table.
Shout out IKEA.
It was from IKEA, so like they are easy to break in
but
his
I
defense.
Just want to let you know,
it did break.
Down and in. Down and in. I cleared that thing. I lost a Rocket League
I was going to say,
and I was like,
I believe we've established that this was Rocket League.
It was Rocket League.
Dude,
I was like,
that was my
Rocket League.
Give me my black belt.
The sun was out too.
I shattered that motherfucker.
The sun
and then she heard it on
the sun was out.
She heard it on the chat. And she was
what was that? What was that?
And I'm immediately ashamed.
Yeah.
But
that's okay.
I just wasn't tied to my emotions. I just kind of felt like, this is self-medicating. And when you start realizing that, you go, what if I take the medication off? Like, what if I talked to my therapist, and my therapist was like, maybe you're using this as a crutch. Maybe you need to feel things. Katie was in LA doing work for a week, and I looked online and they said, withdrawal symptoms usually last about 7 days. And I did the math. That was where I was like, let's chill for a couple months.
That's wild to me, if I may, because I was like, wouldn't you want me to, I would love to be there to help you through whatever withdrawal symptoms you're experiencing. You don't have to hide.
I know I didn't have to hide it, but I didn't want to inconvenience her.
It wouldn't have.
Because one of the things.
I'm so busy, let me tell you.
But one of the things is like, I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep the first week. I just was like, you don't sleep. Because I'm getting sedated. I just had a physical like 2 months ago. And my doctor was like, all right, marijuana use? I was like, daily. And he's like, how much? And I lied like we do about our drinks. I was like, once a day. But I was like, I smoke when I wake up. I would smoke before the shower. And then that's just how I start my day. And then throughout the day, I'd just keep smoking. And then at night, it was like bong hits, edibles, let's go.
Before you go to sleep, you would take at least an edible.
I'd take
every
at least
night.
25 milligrams, at least. After smoking all night.
Enough to sedate me. That would sedate. I would be, you talk about losing the ground.
I was sleeping through the night.
So
kind of. Not even really. Kind of.
But something that I want to know from Katie's perspective about all of this is, to what extent did Dan seem stoned versus also being functional, which is a...
Let me tell you something about the soders. We hide getting up very well.
Yeah. Dan never really comes into the other room and says he's freaking out. But the next day, Dan will go, I freaked out a little last night. And I'm like, where was I? He doesn't go through it out loud. He goes through it all inside.
Flexing through his shirt.
Which I'm like, then I immediately think of all the times I've been on the ground needing him to fan my sweaty back because I don't know where I am.
You want the Sherpa, and Dan is out there soloing.
Right? And then then I feel like a monster because I'm like, I was in the other room just goofing off, probably getting frustrated at you because we're in the chat and you're not responding. And I'm like, are you on your phone? Why aren't you answering us in the chat?
Yeah, you guys play video games from different rooms.
Yeah, but on headset. Because with other people. We're not just like on headset with each other.
But in the same apartment.
Yeah, in the same, whatever.
Sometimes.
Should I be more ashamed when I say
No. I just want people to understand what...
Whatever, man.
Yeah,
we live
so
we live
anyway,
a life.
he goes through it kind of alone. And
yeah,
so,
as one does.
No.
I know.
But it's I don't always know. So but I can't.
That's
there's
only
sometimes-
child syndrome.
I'll notice when he gets really. I mean, he'll usually come out and go like, "I'm gonna get scary high tonight."
That's literally my words.
I'm like, why?
I come out and I go, I'm gonna get scared.
He's like, hey, what if, I was thinking, what if, you know that weed that we've stopped smoking because you're so afraid of it? What if I put that into a bong and I just do binger bongers and I'm gonna get going? And I was like, why do you aspire to get so scared? Like,
Yeah,
isn't
dude.
that the bad part? Why are you chasing the bad part?
I'd sit there with a full bat and just to the, and a lot of my friends, we get high like that. It's just kind of everybody I've ever been friends with. That's just what we do, before the bonfire, we'd rip a Keef dipped fucking
Jesus Christ.
Moon, what is it? Like
Everything now, can I
rolls?
just say, all of the dispensaries are like, you want a small little one? Okay, well, we dipped this one in more weed.
Yeah, in
and
resin,
you can smoke this. And I'm
rolled
like,
around in the-
I just
It's
want a
called
baby
gourmet.
one. Some of us
gourmet.
smoke like when we
kissing
tried it the first time in high school, we did not like it. And
Yeah.
we went to a scary place. And some of us just like to take a little edge off.
But the question of like walking around the world and being functional enough while also does it feel like I am overcoming the thing that is making me stoned? Does it feel like there is a challenge or a thing you enjoy about, like, I can do something that they can't?
I think I have a lot of anger in me that I've never dealt with, and I think I have a lot of frustration in me that I haven't dealt with, like in a healthy way, like actually worked through it. And I think weed was like, dude, put it up on the side. Like, we'll put it in the bag.
I feel like you have a constant running, I don't know because I'm not in there, but you've got an inner monologue of anxiety that it's like a hum that has been humming for so long that you've kind of learned to just like
that's
push it in the back. But when you smoke weed, it goes further in the back. So you can really not even tell that
It's putting on noise canceling headphones.
Yeah.
It's like I get high and I put on those noise canceling headphones and I'm like just walking around. And what's crazy is since I've stopped smoking in the past 2 weeks, my anxiety levels have dropped.
Yeah.
I don't have any anxiety.
Wow.
I get anxiety in certain situations that cause anxiety, but I'm not anxious. I don't think I'm done smoking weed. I think I'm done drinking for sure. I don't want to go back to drinking. I don't want to become that person again. Cigarettes, God only knows. But weed, I just need a break. I just needed let me get 2 months. And by the way, I talk to friends that are huge potheads and they go, well, yeah, you got to take a break. And I go, you guys have been taking breaks? I've been doing this 26 years straight.
Well, I told Katie immediately, we were in LA getting dinner and she told me about this. She broke the news to me that we couldn't do our athlete.
Which we will
episode,
do.
Which we will do. Again, we're going to do
Trust
it.
me. When
And if we don't, it's okay.
Yeah, but I don't care. When you're a Hall of Famer, you got a ball.
But what I told her immediately was, and again, forgive me for not being the best advice giver, given that you are currently trying to stay in the state that you're in. I was like, but when you do return to it,
yeah, we can do it.
It's going to be incredible.
Well, that's kind of where I want to get. I want to
like when I don't smoke weed for a while, I come back and I'm like, oh, this is why I fell in love with it.
Well, that's what I want. I want it to be a treat. I want it to be
Yes.
cake. I don't want it to be a daily vitamin. I want it to be cake. I want it to be like, hey, dude, let's have some cake. And then you're like, oh, you get that excitement of like, yeah, dude, I could have some cake right now. The way I was smoking, I needed to do it before I left the house. And Katie will tell you that. She'd be like, hey, we got to go do this. I'm like, all right, hold on. And then the window would open and I'd or I had my one hitter on me like an ankle gun. I just kept that thing on me. I would just be like, oh, cool. Just walk in and be like, and then you're like, yeah, and it just like, dude, I don't have anything against weed. This isn't a thing where I'm like, and now I found Christ.
Oh,
and
100%. I love weed.
This is me this is me just, let me get out the pool and dry off.
For this many years consecutively, you
I've
have
had-
nothing to justify to anybody.
thank
Your
you
brain
for
has not
reminding
had
us
a
of
second
this.
to go, maybe we should build some neural pathways sober.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have a thought process function soberly through your brain.
I had bathtub fingers, and I just want my fingers to go back to not
Yeah,
being
you've had wrinkled
Raisins.
I just let me get out of the water for a little bit. I've said it to friends of mine who have had real problems with addiction, like real bad problems. Friends of mine that have relapsed, other friends of mine that have gotten through it. And the friends in my life, I've seen a reaction from people where you have people in your life that you trust, that you love and you trust. And when it's a consensus, you go, I'm going the right way. And enough people have gone like, all right. Like Vecchione this morning at breakfast, he didn't know. And I told him, he's like, yeah, dude. All right, I'm excited to see this. Bargatze was like, all right, buddy, here we go. Like, let's go. And Katie immediately understood. She went, yeah, take a break. And by the way, I'm not mad at her for smoking weed. She smokes weed before we play Rocket
I was going to
I
ask,
also
what's the
don't
state
have
of
any alcohol in the house, so like I feel like I'm doing my part.
Yeah.
And since you're just taking a break from this one, and we have all that weed,
I mean, we have a
it's
ton
not
of
going to
weed.
smoke itself.
We have a lot of
and
weed.
so especially
I
today, I
carry
felt
weight.
I had a duty to
Yeah.
stay true to the
But
concept of the
what's
podcast.
funny is I'm like, yeah, dude, go get high.
Well, so I was going to
Because
ask.
she asked this. She
I
was like,
do it in
"Can
a different room,
yeah, she is respectful, but I was
but he
joking
can't
around.
smell, so it doesn't really.
Yeah, I have no sense of smell. So I'm like, dude, go rip it. I'm going to hang out with my friends that smoke weed, and I'm probably going to watch them smoke weed. And I'm like, dude, that's great. My dad's family is all addicts. I mean, top to bottom, and they're all dead. And it's me and my cousin, and we're kind of like, damn, everyone was fucked up. And it's like, our family, my dad's family normalized it. Like, this is what we do. We get fucked up. We're good at getting fucked up. And we are. We're very good at getting fucked up. But time to take a break. I'm in my 40s now. I just kind of don't want to be.
I'm not yet.
I just kind of don't want to be an old stoner. I kind of want to have my wits about me as I get older. So whatever I have to do, I've been doing it consistently for 26 years.
26 years.
Yeah. I don't remember most of my life. Yeah. But I just felt like, whatever, man. It's time to chill out for a little bit.
One of the things that I was in LA for was because I had all these 420 ideas, but really what I'm so glad to do is like actually get to what's more interesting about all of this with people who actually like sincerely have a relationship with weed and like it's nuanced and it's not as simple as,
Well, let me tell you this. 420 is to potheads what New Year's Eve is to alcoholics. It's an amateur's holiday.
And especially in New York where it's fully
Thanksgiving
legal.
is where you get high.
Truly, my favorite Twitter search is like weed on Thanksgiving, weed plus like cousins. And it's like everybody attesting to the joy of discovering this forbidden thing of getting high with your cousins once a year.
My mom my mom kind of kicked that door down for everybody.
Shout out Cam, dude. We'll rip it on Thanksgiving. I'll be back. But I just don't kind of want, like I said, I don't want to make it the standard. I'm just kind of want to dry off.
Yeah. So one of the things I asked in LA of an interview subject, Matt Barnes, former NBA player, who was the preeminent stoner while active in the NBA, was like, what do you think about—
Possum hunter.
And a possum. Yes, 9 minutes I watched of his
Just
Instagram.
grab it, dude.
Bro, hop in, bitch. Come on, hop in.
6'8", Matt
That
Barnes.
whole thing he built. Like, what are we doing?
He had like a
dude?
That was a
box
pothead way of
Yes.
solving
He
it.
was like, okay, I got this. And then as soon as it touched
Throwing
it, the thing
fruit.
fell over.
You could also
Wild.
tell because like anybody from the country was like, just grab the thing, throw it outside, man. It ain't gonna kill you.
What I wanted to know from Matt Barnes was what's his view on cannabis as a performance-enhancing drug? Because he smoked so much before games, and again, there's nuance to the ritual and how far ahead of games and so forth. But for you, did you ever have a thought of, I am made better because of this?
Man, Bonfire ripped when we got high. There's a certain high Jay and I would get where that radio show would be fucking cooking. Because we're buddies. We're genuine friends. And I love getting high with Big J, and we would watch silly videos, and it would be like everything I did in high school that brought me joy after school, I got to do that job for 8 years. And I love it. And I love it. And I still love going over to Jay's and smoking a joint and watching YouTube fails.
I feel like something you said about alcohol is what you're maybe getting at, correct me if I'm wrong, is that when you quit drinking, you were afraid that your talent was tied to drinking.
I still feel that about weed.
Right.
I still feel, I just headlined my first weekend without weed in Omaha. And it was like...
I could not be more fascinated as to how that felt.
It felt... I was nervous until I got on stage, and then I was like, I'm doing stand-up. Gotta write better jokes. So I was like, oh, it's still here. That thought's still here. And I had fun, and I was what I found was I didn't lose my place in my set. I found I felt like it was a little more concise. I felt like it was a little more like, I think you kind of want to learn how to hit the baseball without steroids. It's like, if I can hit dingers not on juice, well then I've got my swing back, but the swing stays your swing. I feel like doesn't get away from me as fast as it did when I was high all the time.
That's a good way to put it, I think.
Stuff would get away from me, and I'd be where it's like Ayuk's catch. You saw that concentration against the Lions, where he's like, and then it falls in my hand, and you're like, oh, when I'm sober now, I can kind of see. I don't go like, I'm just like, oh, just put your hands out, and there it is.
So what it sounds like, and this is something that I was hoping you would have insight into, was just like, oh, absent this variable, I am like this. And I've learned that actually the thing, not that, the real championship was the friends we made along the way.
But it really is, it is
like,
that,
it's you. You've, of course, been the guy going on stage the whole time.
Yeah, that the cliche in superhero movies where it's like, I've lost my powers. And it's like, no, you always had your powers. You just thought that this amulet or this thing gave you your powers.
The invisibility cloak or whatever.
Yeah, and it's like, no, you don't really need that. And again, this is something that I have gotten to myself. I don't expect everyone to feel this way. It's just something that, if you're struggling with substances, just know it's not the substance. You can get rid of it. I think one of my favorite things about comedy and being able to do podcasts and a radio show and is when I talk about drinking, people reach out to me and they go, you don't demonize it. You don't make it like, there's a lot of programs out there that make you white knuckle, and they go like, you can never do this again. But you go, well, if you understand the relationship, you understand sometimes you don't need it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think substances in this country are a lot of times marketed well and taxed heavily, so they like people to be on them. And that can kind of blur your relationship with the substance, especially now that weed is legal. There's a lot of people pushing it that demonized it 10, 15 years ago. And those of us that are lifelong weed smokers, it's like, man, some of y'all came to the party when it was safe, and we think you're dorks. So maybe stop thinking like,
So
well, I
that's
gotta.
me. It's
but
gonna be me
No, you were
there.
smoking weed before that.
Yeah, a little bit, like a year or two before that, but not most of the... If any of my high school friends still listen to things I make, which I bet they don't, but if they do, shout out to Ashley Studley, who right now is thinking, lady, when we got high in high school, you got on all fours in the driveway, and we're like, I'm dying, call an ambulance.
Yeah. But I think there's just people who go through shit that you're like, you see people go through it later when it's safer, and you're kind of like, F you. Yeah.
As the other person in this household, Dan has been describing his vantage point on everything, looking outward. What's it been like from your perspective?
I mean, I love him more than anything. So there's really nothing, even when it's different, I don't really notice. But I think you're like, he's sort of more in touch with his He's feeling things a lot more.
I mean, my God.
We'll
The
just
volume
leave it
on
at
the
that. We
feelings
can just
is
leave it
up.
at you can tell like
I was
he's
weeping watching the Steve Martin documentary.
yeah.
I mean, it was like, dude,
things are
I was
hitting.
And they told me that. My friends who have been through rehab and my friends who have gone through like severe drug addictions were like, dude, I know it's this weed. Get ready to cry. Get ready to feel shit. Get ready to like, she came home last Thursday and she
That's
had
the day I was thinking of.
Yeah, she had a long day at work and she came home and I was depressed and I was just like, I don't know.
And I was like, oh, Sherpa,
Yeah.
I've been here. I live here.
Yeah.
I live in this part.
And she
Let me
suffers
get you.
from depression. And she was kind of like, stop going on social media. Stop doing these things. Like, it's okay. What do you want to do? You want to watch a movie? Do you want to take your brain off it? And just sitting around talking to her, I was like, oh, this is when I would go get high. This is when, like, if I was sad, I'm like, well, let me get high and put on WWE 2K24 and play, an ambulance match. It would just be like something like that.
Of course,
Yeah.
as one does.
As one
Let
does.
me control. Which wrestler would you be?
Probably Stone Cold in that case. But it was like actually going through it and then waking up the next day. It's reverse Sherpaing. Because I woke up the next day and I felt better. And I was like, ow. I was bummed yesterday, but that's all right. Some days you're bummed, and that's what life is.
Weed being a way of imposing order on the world when for many other people it's a way of
It's the
inviting
opposite.
chaos.
For me, when I was younger, it was always like, I can't smoke weed unless I'm in a situation that is controlled. I still rarely smoke weed and leave the house because less is in my control. And the first time I enjoyed smoking weed was in college after one of my friends was like, you just haven't been doing it right. We're going to do just you and me.
Oh yeah, I was a first time in college guy for the record.
What?
I was the first
You
time
were?
smoking weed in
First
college.
time ever.
Yeah.
Huh.
And now look how cool I am now.
I know, the coolest.
Got a whole bag of it down by your feet.
But my friend was like, listen, we're going to put on this show, Most Extreme Elimination Challenge. We're
Great
going
show.
we're going to smoke,
Shout
we're going to
out.
sit, and we're going to watch that. And that's all we're going to do. And no one's coming over, and we have nothing. Tomorrow's a day off. And I laughed so hard. And I was like, this is so much better. And then that's when I realized I don't like relinquishing control to too many things at once. And that's what weed did for me, was it like took me out of the driver's seat. And so it's funny to hear you be
yes.
like, it puts me in it because at least I'm control. I know what the variable
Well,
is.
I was getting fucking ear-holed by the world.
Yeah,
And I
exactly.
was kind of like, well, I can't control that, but I can control this, and I can get fucking high, and me and Byron and Dennis can smoke in my garage. And I think my mom understood that. My mom understood that it was like a thing where I had control over it and it calmed me down. So when I was 16, my mom was like, if you smoke weed, you can do it here. You're not driving. No one's driving, but you can do it here in the garage if you just want to hang.
You
Kind of
could've-
that. Like, here's a safe place to do it. Don't get arrested because you're trying to get into college. It was still very illegal then. And she was like,
He really wants you to know he was cool
I was cool as
because it was illegal.
It was illegal. I mean, everyone smoking weed that knew it when it was illegal was like, it was.
I just have you wearing a leather jacket throughout the entirety.
Slicked hair.
Yeah.
I didn't give a shit. No, I gave so many shits that I had to hide. I gave so many.
Your mom, I think you could have the losses and pain that you experienced from life at a very young age could have showed up as anger and badness in so many worse ways than like, oh, I smoke a herbal drug.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't have been doing it, but at least you weren't like,
No, I feel like the order of operations in
self-harming
terms of
or hurting other people
Yes.
or,
Yeah.
becoming any sort of like violent, angry, you were peace. It kept you at peace almost.
Yeah, it really did. And I think it really did. I mean, 26 years later trying to get out of it, but
Sure.
or tone it down a little.
We talked about it the other day. It was like bumpers
Yeah.
when you're bowling.
Yeah.
It like just and once they're gone, you're like, well, I was doing pretty well with them. Can we bring those back?
I was rolling 300 every time.
You do have to learn to like,
gotta learn the
okay,
oil
fine.
pattern.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
That's what I've
As
learned.
someone whose dad was a bartender in a bowling alley, the oil patterns
Oh my
are
God, we
clutch.
bowled recently and I was like, what the hell is this? He like had a whole,
I did the spin.
I mean,
Oh,
he does
yeah,
the
yeah,
whole,
yeah. Putting some
and he
English
doesn't
on
use
that.
the holes. He just puts it in the
two
palm of his, no, you didn't even. You like put it in the
Well,
palm.
you do the two in and then you upside.
Let's
you
not
go.
do that in front of so many people. I know.
Let's continue to do that. Actually.
Sorry, I won't do the noise.
All right. Okay. Cut that out. Okay, cut that out.
Bowling lanes?
It's also hard for me to get an entirely clean read on how you're doing because you also released a special right before you quit weed. And when anybody who's ever dated a comic knows, right after you release something, you guys go to a weird place because you all think you're the least funny person who's ever lived.
Yeah.
Or at least like definitely you do that, where you're like, oh, my new hour sucks. I'm like, well, maybe that's because you just put out a whole hour and had to start all over again.
Yeah.
And that's hard. And you're like, no, I'm never going to write another funny joke again in my entire life.
That's it.
And so he's already there. And then, so I can't tell when some things are are that or if it's the weed, but it's just, I think he's doing a great job. I'm very proud of you. I'm a little miffed because I thought this episode would have been really cool.
We're going to do the episode.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
was going to
I
say.
know. But this is also
And I'm
me-
also going to really enjoy the
I know. This is also me making peace with you. This is how my brain works. I will now tell myself we're never going to do that episode so that I'm never disappointed you didn't come back to something that you considered an addiction.
Sure.
I don't ever want to be subliminally or subconsciously encouraging you to go back to something you quit. So I'm going to just make peace with we're never doing the episode. And then if we ever do it, it'll be a nice treat.
And I'm going to be the guy sending you photos of the Mike Tyson ear.
Well, here's the thing. We're gonna need more stuff than Mike Tyson. I just have a personal policy to not ingest something given to me by Mike Tyson.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
So just for my own personal,
We got some others.
Okay.
What other ones do you have?
We have. I mean,
we
Gary
already smoked
Payton.
Gary Payton in the house. That is our number
Gary
one.
Payton's my number one
Obviously,
strain.
we brought it from LA.
Gary
fresh,
Payton's been getting us
allegedly.
f***ed up ever since he handed me a pint glass full of Jack Daniels at that Fox retreat.
Shout
and then
out.
we smoke exclusively Gary Payton. And
When
so
we
he
go
gets
to
me
LA,
f***ed up.
I go to Cookies and I
Yes.
get, and I shout out Ron Funches for putting me on Gary
Cookies
Payton.
is-
And I
Shout
go
out
get,
Ron Funches.
I get the Gary Payton strain, which I love. I think it's my second favorite strain, only to Golden Goat, which is very hard to find, but a very good strain. They had it in Colorado at a dispensary by my mom's house. Yeah, but I love Gary Payton.
We have a mellow Carmelo Anthony.
Okay. As a Nuggets fan, that might be tough for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's selfish. It's selfish, that
is.
strain. And then we have something I did not know until producer Chris and I went to LA. Pac-Man Jones.
Huh.
Love it.
We're going to find out what that feels like at some point.
What's it called?
What
It's
are
just
the
called
name-
Pac-Man.
What are the names of the
Love
ghosts? What are they called?
Oh, they have like different
Aren't they like
names.
Leapy, Beepy, and Sneepy? Yeah.
Blinky, Pinky, Inky, and Clyde.
Clyde!
Always got to be that one
And Clyde.
contrarian. Yeah.
Why is the ghost called Clyde? Is the second
Of course it is.
expandable
Because what other
tab
question
on
could you
Google.
possibly have? What are they eating?
His
Are they
name is
little?
odd as the other ghosts have names that end in Inky, and yet his
Yeah.
is inexplicably Clyde. This could be a reference to his outcast nature or just a bored program.
I've always said that about him.
He just bounces all
He
the
goes
way
off
from
on his own.
everybody.
Yeah.
It's like
I love that.
We also have Magic Johnstone, which is
Nice.
another
Great.
Fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
Great.
When the time
If.
is right.
When/if.
When/if.
When/if. And if
Mostly
not, we'll
when
just do it
for
with somebody
me,
else.
'cause
And
I'm
we'll
not-
definitely do it.
I'm not the
Because
shit.
we had come up with what I think is a pretty good idea because look, like when you're watching, let's say Chopped, and they come to the part where they bring out the food and everybody, we don't get to eat the food. So it would be, whereas with the alcohol, we could tell you about what it tasted like. With the weed, you're not really, it's less about taste. It's more about like, how is it affecting them?
For sure.
And so it might be hard for the viewer or listener, but in this case, I'm going to say the viewer
Yes.
to get a grasp of like what was good or bad about it. And so Dan and I were like, well, what if we smoke weed and then we teach Pablo how to play Rocket League? And then you can visually see if we get better or worse
In
based
between
on the
bowls.
weed. And it would be a visual representation of the high for the viewer.
I am going to punch a hole.
Yeah.
Whatever table you
Two.
replace.
We got two
Don't worry,
tables.
they're
and
$12.99.
you can each get one,
I have the
actually.
tab open.
You can each get one.
Yeah.
They're the very cheap, like Malm or whatever.
Yeah, they're just
Malm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
All right. I will see you guys then at your apartment.
Yeah. Which I was so
when and
excited
if.
to have you over. I cleaned a little bit. Luckily, I didn't clean a lot of it.
We'll get
because
the
then when
setup
we
right.
Yeah,
when
yeah,
we
yeah,
didn't do
yeah,
it, I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, this can
We'll
be
get the
crazy.
setup right and we'll do a whole streaming setup. We'll get it right.
Oh, okay. a lot of promises.
Maybe in the living room. In the living room.
In the
I don't
living
know why.
on Katie's PlayStation.
On the living
In
room.
the living room.
Which, if you smash that table, that's glass.
That's
So-
a real problem. That's going to be a real problem, Pablo.
I don't have that degree of dog in me, unfortunately.
I do.
Myrtle
I'll
does.
be back.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
This is
That's
really,
it?
really
That was a
fun.
podcast?
Yeah. Yes.
All
yes.
right.
You guys, the official couple of Pablo Torre finds out.
love
The
Well, I
first
don't know.
couple.
I don't know. Saw Megan Sue on here, so
Yeah, you guys can.
Well, they're allowed
You guys
to
can
have
challenge
it.
them to various
No,
physical
you know what?
challenges.
We're
they'll
the
beat
kind
us.
of people we are. We'll let them have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You flexing into the camera?
No, I'm giving a let's go.
Oh, okay. They can have it. We're happy to be second.